And hello everyone, and welcome to the Mario Kart Wii World Cup 2026 quarterfinals. We're entering the final stretch of this competition, and it's my pleasure to be casting this first quarterfinals here alongside Jaggy. How are you doing, Jaggy?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a pleasure to cast this and pleasure to cast with you once again. We've got ourselves a pretty good matchup between two teams that are 4-1, but have had some very close matches, some razor close matches, and I expect this to be more of the same.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been kind of the trend for both of these teams here, like very narrow wins, followed up by either like one big loss or simply just a loss that was pretty unexpected. So yeah, if you haven't figured it out yet, we're talking about Asia, the second seed from Group B versus France, the third seed from Group A. France was pretty hot coming into the group stage 4-0 before losing by 60 to Canada, and Asia only losing one match themselves after a very tough and very just overall combative group stage on the Group B side, except if your name is US North, of course. But in all seriousness, let's go to the lineups immediately, and I will go ahead for once and start with my team, my nation, Team France, who are running the same lineup that they have been for pretty much the entire tournament, with Byron, Fatal, Aethior, Knight, and Lud or Tony bagging. So obviously, this is the lineup that they ran pretty much the entire tournament. That's the lineup that they ran during their stint during GSC Division 2 last season. As we mentioned numerous times before, they have plenty of synergy coming into it. Byron, extremely strong player, much younger than the rest of the players here. Fatal and Lutz having plenty of D1 experience. With Daisy, for example, Istor, an extremely fast French player, having a lot of really good DT times, a lot of actually French, not tops, but even records, and Knight being the most experienced out of all of them, having played in many teams among the years. And yeah, as stated, 4-1 going into this, their first quarterfinals appearance since 2016. So very, very impressive from them to have come this far. First time in 10 years, and only losing against Canada by 60, but even winning against teams like Scandinavia and England. So yeah, very strong team going into this quarterfinal stage.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is pretty standard France. They have, I mentioned in previous casts that France have had a bit of shakiness in terms of stability, in terms of concrete starting lineups and just chemistry all around. But they really have found their footing, not just in MK World Cup, but this year in general. Of course, they played GSC Division 2 2 seasons ago, lost in semifinals, but with basically this exact same core five. And like I said, people shifting around different MK World Cups, players coming in and out of the rotation, but they found some solidity and their first quarterfinal appearance since 2016. And I do believe that they match up pretty decently against Asia. If you want to switch over to Asia, not to say that Asia aren't, or not to say that Asia are slouches, because they definitely are not by any means. With a lineup of Emil, Jaker, Crack, Badcake, and Sparkster Bag, I want to say that Asia, I do believe that they have the edge here in terms of individual skill over France, with players like Emil, best Daisy in the game, arguably. Well, Mura's up there as well. I think Mura probably takes that crown. But Emil very much vying for that top Daisy spot. Very much someone you depend on in terms of BC3 Ultra and BC Weak Glitch. And then you also have Jaker, prominent high div player for many seasons now. Crack, who's really, made a name for himself over the last, couple years. And then Badcake, who, on his day, one of the most talented players in the game. He's kind of seen a little bit of shakiness over the last year and a half in terms of being able to play the game, not necessarily in terms of. I mean, yeah, he's been unable to play the game really consistently over the last year and a half to 2 years. But I am really, really excited to see this individual play. Very close. He's a good friend of mine, obviously. I don't want to glaze too much, but he is very much a very talented player. Fourth in Indivs, by the way, alongside Byron for France, fourth in Indivs in his group, respectively, and Sparkster bagging as well. What do you think about this lineup?
Well, first, no worries about a bit of glazing. We'll do a bit of glazing for each team, respectively. It's fine. there's an equal amount. But yeah, in all seriousness, obviously, I think you hit the nail on the head here. If you go into pure mechanics, I do think that Asia have the slight edge over France here. but it's just like France have the synergy going into the tournament. That's what's going to make this match close, really, in my eyes. But yeah, Asia having a very strong lineup coming into this. Jaker and Bad Cake, both extremely strong individual players. Emil, as you mentioned, extremely strong Daisy. Though I would argue that Rosen actually is also in the
Oh yeah,
discussion for best Daisy in the game currently, alongside Mura. And yeah,
I'd say
Sparkster.
Mura, Rosen, and Emil probably top three. I'd say Emil is
Uh,
third, fourth.
Yeah, absolutely,
But yeah,
absolutely. I do think that top three is pretty just normalized at this point. But yeah, very strong lineup coming from Asia here, who have been rotating quite a bit throughout their group stage, contrary to France. They had a very different approach in this group stage. There have been numerous different lineups, and they're going with this core four today, which I do think is a very strong lineup for them. Obviously, uh, the one exception, the one big difference being Sparkster instead of Yoshi Kresbag, though I do think the pair have a similar skill level, and both of them can absolutely take Luds down a peg on any given day.
gotcha. Um, okay, I'll switch mics. Yeah, I got a Bluetooth headset mic, by the way. I guess this one isn't gonna pan out. I actually wanted to get I wanted to get what's it called, a lav mic, a plug-in lav mic, but unfortunately, the person that I tried to buy it from backed out last second. So I'll
Ooh,
be having that one hopefully for this Sunday. Yeah, I'll switch over the mics, by the way.
no worries, no worries.
Thanks for letting me know that, guys.
Okay, with that being said, we are currently 9 in the room, so should get started at any second now. As we mentioned here in the quarterfinals, both extremely strong teams going into this. I do think this will be going to a match 3. I've seen the results of this match fairly debated, frankly. I do think France could take this 2-1, but I could absolutely Asia go at it in game 3 as well. But I would be very much surprised if either of these teams go just win this 2-0 straight off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a 2-0, but it can happen considering that, there are a couple of wild cards that can play into this. Like I said, Asia very strong individually, but France very strong synergy-wise. I mean, not to say that they aren't good individually. I just meant like in terms of a bit of a advantage for Asia's side, but I don't see a 2-0 happening. It can happen, but if I were to give a swing either way, I will say it's hard to say. I will say Asia for this one, but it's going to be a very difficult one. A 2-1
Yeah,
for Asia.
yeah, absolutely. And considering how close both teams have kept it during the group stage against their respective opponents, there is absolutely a case for either of these teams definitely picking up the win on any given day, really. Okay, now we're 10 in room, should be started at any moment now, but really quickly, just before it starts, for those that are curious about what the other quarterfinals are during this World Cup, which will be casted later in the weekend, we have, I had it ready and I lost it. We have, thank you, perfect. We have England versus Australia, which is the other quarterfinals on the other side of Asia and France. We have Canada versus US South and Scandinavia versus US North. Overall, just really, aside from maybe US North Scandinavia, just due to US North's raw dominance coming into the tournament, I absolutely see all of these matches going to the wire, frankly, aside maybe from England, Australia, depending on how Australia's been feeling these past few days. Since they've been the record of 1-4 has been pretty surprising going into the tournament, frankly.
Yeah, sorry, I was just playing around with my voice settings, but
Oh,
yeah, I
good.
mean this MK World Cup certainly has entertained thus far, and this bracket stage looks pretty interesting. Aside from maybe England versus Australia, I do think we might see some closer matchups, and yeah, I mean we're set here for Asia versus France. Probably, actually, in my eyes, yeah, definitely the most razor tight matchup of the four, and I'm really excited to get this one underway.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This has a chance of being the closest one alongside Canada, US South. I do think it's also maybe going down to the wire, but considering just how, like, the tendency of both these teams going into these playoff stages, then it is pretty expected for it to be pretty close, and we're going to start on DDR Asia's track pick going into it. We do have Emil's POV, we have Fatal's POV, and we might have a Bad Cake POV. There was a couple of problems before the cast, so we're gonna have to see if this one is fixed, which it does seem to be. Emil waiting immediately, and then first pill of the match immediately pulled box 8. It's kind of a meme for those that are in the Odin community that Emil pulls these builds fairly frequently. So we are most likely going to see him hold that for quite a bit. Let's quickly switch over to Batcake, who's currently in second behind Byron, who managed to sneak into first place. It seems a little bit of chaos, most likely on the sand hop at the start of lap 1. But yeah, Byron and Batcake, the two players highest in div of their squads, going at it immediately. Nana up, not going to connect, and yeah, immediately a show of just immediately a show of mechanics, Jaggy on both teams' side here.
Indeed, yeah, and also on the bagging bout, I would like to point out there was a okay. Here we go. We don't see this too often being implemented, but he clips that wall, which prevents him Batcake from overtaking Byron. I was going to mention though that Sparkster got stop-starred after the bridge section after 30 seconds, so that gave LXDZ a big break in the bagging battle, and very much needed here for France to try to get into those mid spots as we see Asia occupying some of those.
Yeah, Asia immediately going into that build, knowing that Lutz is further ahead in the bagging battle, not wanting to give the French bagger too many chances of pulling the shock here. But there it is, Fatal taking the Star Ultra into first place here. And I do think the round dodging oh, that's unfortunate. Byron
That is so
still
unfortunate.
Byron is still going to hold first. It should still be top 2 for France, but Crack is trying to make his way up into the top spot.
This is neck and neck here.
I don't think he has an item. We see Eastior as well, backbombing someone behind him here, and there's the blue on Byron. If Crack gets redded here, this could be disastrous for Asia. It is already 2-3. Eastior gets redded as well. So many reds being thrown out. Crack survives. No, he doesn't. Fatal gets into first place.
Batcake has a bomb though. Batcake has a bomb. Pay attention. Is it gonna come out? It bounces wide. Catches a Batcake, might slip into first here, and he does. I think he does on his screen.
Fatal is the first on his screen. It's definitely a blue-green line difference. I do think Batcake could have possibly gone into first place, but it
looks like he did. It looked like he did.
Looked extremely close. I would not be surprised if he did indeed. We saw only Fatal screen here. But yeah, that's already a really chaotic ending to start us off here. Blue being thrown, multiple reds being thrown, Crack being punished almost immediately for his red being thrown at ACR. But yeah, makes sense that ZTR would immediately bring chaos to two teams that have been extremely aggressive and extremely combative during the regular stage, and Fatal is the one
so
that takes
close.
first.
But Fatal does sneak that first. I was gonna mention that Fatal didn't look like Fatal reacted to that POW too well. It looked like it delayed. It looked like the instant replay. He delayed the drift a little bit and missed the MT altogether. And it did look like Batcake snuck it, but he didn't. And that was a good race. Good shock there from LXDZ. Good work there to stop star Sparkster and take the strat at the same time.
Yeah, I do think that's what Lud has as a big advantage against someone, especially as young as Sparkster, is that Lud has been bagging for years at this point. I do think he has higher just bagging overall IQ and just is more likely to do these sorts of plays that aren't just getting the shock, but not only just helping his team in various ways, but also preventing the opponent from getting shock in various ways. And I do think that's how Lud might take the edge over Sparkster during this matchup. But yeah, 1-3-5-6 for France immediately, and darting into the lead, trying to keep it going with Maple Freeway. That's my country right there.
Yeah, definitely a 135 staple track pick coming out here.
Gonna have to see, but Sherbetland is going to be the pick for Asia here in 2-4-7-8. Pretty expected there in those spots. We will follow Emil at the start in 4th place. Hopefully not bumped too hard during that very first corner. The Daisy POV is expected here. Ooh, immediate draft onto Batcake here, thankfully, but Fatal doesn't get past in Yen, and there's the bump I was expecting immediately there. Let's switch over to Batcake. France in top 3 already. Isyor with a Mega, gonna maybe try and do some damage. The red sneaking by and hitting Byron in the process. Jaker also making his way up there. It's a bit of chaos in the top pass so far. Crack getting bumped into the wall, so it's only Jaker in that top 3 spot, but Batcake with double shrooms in 4th can absolutely get up there at the next ice section. Fatal maybe trying to hit him out a little bit, but it seems like there has been a bit of bump going. Red is going to connect very nice by Byron. Expected this to go into the wall, but it doesn't seem to be the case. France still into 3, and that TC is going to be scary.
Yeah, it was a good attempt there from back kick to break that on the tight wall. Does not get that one, but it looked like early on we see one of the backers going forward. Whoever's in the cave, I think, is the one that is in possession of it right now. We'll pay attention to that in just a moment. Yeah,
It is
he is
Sparkster, I
sitting on
believe.
that wide wall. It's Sparkster.
Sparkster, probably Asia, having the shock already at this point. France back into their 2-3 position after that little TT scuffle between Byron and Batcake in the mid pack there. Jaker having so much work to do here. Fib gonna
Oh
try
yeah,
it on Isior, but double Fib, not neither of them ending up connecting
yeah.
here.
2 through 5 here is very dangerous here on the side of France. They are occupying those 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, and it looks like Jaker. Okay, no, that looks like that is Alex Easy trying to drop a star. I would try to drop it for
Yeah,
a third, but 2 through 3, 2 and 3 are really close together. But we'll see
yeah.
what happens.
It maybe even you can maybe even try and split it. Lutz is still a very good runner regardless of everything here, and there's the shock that is expected here from Asia. Knight being CS from it actually, and Fatal, the only one up there with that ground star, actually getting into first place with that. That's from the
Oh, how does that red not break?
that is a Mario Kart 8 red if I ever saw one right there. Emil fourth into the back once again, and you see a lot of Asia back there. I do believe it is top 3-8 actually for France at this point in the match, so very much the opportunity for another good race from them. Fatal should be pretty free into first place here. Let's switch our POVs over to Emil right now, who is trying to make his way up
Oh
there,
my
but
god!
no! Right as we make the switch, he ends up falling off in that star. Byron makes his way up there, and I do think that is a horrendous race for Asia. 4, 5, 6, 7. I do believe that FR got last year, but that should be a top 3, even with the shock on RSL.
Oh,
They just played that so well, Team France.
wow. I mean that's not the mistake that you see someone like Emil May. I mean, I'd say out of the top players, he is a tiny bit more mistake prone. Like he is a little bit more like hit or miss. Like when he's hit, he's super hit. But that is one of those moments where he is super miss. Unfortunately, that was not the mistake you want to make at this level as well.
Yeah, to play a bit of devil's advocate here, there was the bomb in the way, so maybe just visually he didn't have the the landmark to make that hop correctly.
Mm.
I do think there was maybe a bit of that in the case here. We didn't quite see it during the switch itself, but there was a bomb popping that he went through in that star. So I do think, unfortunately, that is just a really crucial mistake that ended up happening, and Emil does pay the price for it. And now France already up 26 on race 2. Not something you're used to seeing from this team. You're used to seeing those 25 plus advances being made at the very least at the midway point of the war, but seems like Team France is absolutely coming out swinging this war.
Yes, you are correct there. They really have shown their mettle here, 2 through 5, occupying basically the whole race and getting Jaker out. You mentioned that Jaker, high pressure situation, and he did opt to back pretty much everything he had, which is, I trust the confidence that Jaker has, but he did ultimately get hit out there and causing France to really secure those top spots. And let's see, France very much in control here with, even though it is a reset track, they can drop a little bit in third. And we'll see who gets what box, and that's such a big one already there from Batcake and Jaker as well. Wow.
Yeah, streaming it to the top 2 already. Byron does get the box 8 though, but seeing the baggers stay back here, there shouldn't be any build pulled by the French player here. Made his way into second place, so yeah, definitely some shrooms there.
Neither,
Pulled.
neither bagger really overextended that much. I mean, looked like Sparkster committed first at like 19 seconds. So not too late of a commitment, and he did pull box early in 10, but one of the baggers going forward already. And if that's LXDDC, that wasn't ninth. I didn't see him overtaking Sparkster in the minimap. And we'll take a look here.
Do we see it? It is respawning unfortunately right as we cross, so we can't.
I think he went forward to lose Bill, maybe.
Possibly.
I'm not sure.
In the case, the Fatal not managing to pass it to Batcake. Never mind, it's your little bit of help there with that Mega, managing to get his teammate to pass that TC. Great gameplay by them overall.
Good gameplay, very good.
Does cost the dodge. Fatal possibly expecting Lutz to have that shock then if Fatal is willing to back that.
It's more than likely Sparkster has it because he was sitting in a spot where he's trying to avoid runner troll. So don't quote me on it. More than likely Sparkster has it, but yeah, he's sitting on that wide part of the loop-de-loop.
Yeah, and Batcake having the bill there makes it more than likely. So it's
Yep.
simply Fatal just wanting to, being smart enough to simply try and avoid Asia getting too many dodges here. There's the star being pulled early.
Gonna get
Force
Fatal
Batcake
out,
in the bill.
surely.
Yeah, and it is going to be called right away. Very expected shock there by Asia, getting Batcake into a pretty good position here. We do see some of France in the top spot still. Jaker
Oh
in
my
first,
god,
but
what a pull. What a
that's an
pull.
amazing pull. And that should get Knight out of third place unless Knight does some insane
Yeah, no,
output
if
there.
Batcake plays his cards right, this is absolutely a top 3. Absolutely a top 3 spot here.
It seems that Knight got hit even beforehand, and Batcake didn't even need to use it that much. So now it should be a guaranteed top 3 on the side of Asia. Someone shrooming up,
Oh,
but Byron getting trailed there. And yeah, that will be top 3, and it looks like top 3-7. Slightly better race than what France got on RSL, but the answer back from Asia with that shock on Peach Gardens has been immediate.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, they played... I would say they got a little lucky with the shroom pulls, but after that, they played their cards right. And yeah, it was a good attempt there from Fatal to use that start early and try to... It didn't really look like he tried to get Batcake too much there. Maybe could have made it more difficult for Batcake to... I mean, Batcake uses Bill anyway.
I think he did manage to force Batcake into the bill. I think Fatal just expected him to have a star and not bill. So if
Right.
he managed to get him into star early, then the call would have been a lot tighter to make. But in bill, you just have so much more time to make that call without really having any worry of getting Fatal in through any lag or anything along those lines. So yeah, they had definitely had the safety net of the bill instead of the star just due to raw dodge duration on the side of Batcake here.
Yeah, and very much a good response here from Asia. I didn't expect Asia really to back down this early on. Like we mentioned before, very razor tight, the most razor tight matchup of this bracket so far. And yeah, we are very much... I mean, very much a pleasure to cast this, and we'll see going forward. Rainbow Road is the pick here for Asia. Pretty decent top 3 pick. Opted not to go for BCWii, which is interesting considering they have Emil and Backache, 2 very good glitch takers, but they're going to opt for Rainbow Road, which is still a good top 3 track.
I would like to mention, it's unfortunate that we don't have Istior's POV because he's a bit of a rainbow specialist, so I would really like to have his POV on the matter. We're gonna have to see if that ends up mattering for him here. But yeah, as you said, really strong top 3 pick for Asia. But
Istior
yeah,
immediately grinds his way.
Immediately trying to draft up there, but it seems like there may have been a little bit of a bump. We don't see him
Maybe a willy bump, yeah.
anymore. Yeah, immediate willy bump, and there's a TC on Fatal's side. That's not going to pass. That's going to be an immediate top 3 on the side of Asia, and that's could be disastrous on a map.
Maybe Backache could grief here on the cut. No, he's going to maybe red someone coming out of cut if they do come out. Nobody from France taking it, actually. Still going to be a top 3, and one of Asia's off?
Someone from Asia either fell off, or I think... No, Emil tried to schlag with the star a little bit, and Kart just ended up passing. I do believe is what happened. What? How did Byron get up there?
I don't know. And what happened to Jaker? What is happening to the pack?
I think Jaker just fell on the half pipe.
What is happening with this pack?
That's the most chaotic Rainbow Road pack.
He's still in third.
He is still in third, thankfully. That is still top 3 for Asia, so it's not completely... with that pound landing is going to be brutal on the side of Emil there. Thankfully, that's Daisy allowing him to drift tight enough to make it. Double dodge used on the side of France, and Emil can just hold that blue for Batcake here.
Jaker can absolutely change the race up right here. He's in 5th. Is he going to go for Shroomless? Is he going to go for Shroom Cut? We'll take a look because France are in mid spots, top mid spots. I'm paying attention to Jaker. I don't see him occupying.
It is Byron.
Yeah.
2-3-4 on the side of France here with Batcake firmly held in place with Emil's blue that he is still holding points. And unfortunately, yeah, with Rainbow Road being the track that it is bagging wise, with neither bagger making the bagging strat, it is most likely going to be Batcake for the rest of it.
Is in snipe range though. Well, no, I was going to say a snipe with a Nana or a Fib on the way down, but doesn't look like that's the case.
Get someone else than Eatior, maybe one of his friends compatriots in the back here, but I do believe Batcake should be able to keep that top spot fairly easily. Let's switch over POVs maybe to Fatal here to see what happens in the mid pack with Emil still holding onto that blue and most likely for the rest of the race.
Yeah.
The mid pack looking pretty chaotic.
There is Jaker reading one of France. This POW could be huge. Oh, he gets hit, but this POW could be huge on Backcake. This POW could be massive. Switch back to Backcake. I want to see if that POW affects him. And it doesn't. Good adjustment. Good adjustment.
Very good adjustment by Batcake indeed. Granted, Prawns would have gone blued immediately if that POW ended up landing correctly. That'd still be a good race from Prawns as long as they play that last section correctly. Don't get backed by Batcake here. You're still keeping that second place, even with that blue being held. Fatal in 6th place, and I do think it is at the very least 2-3-6 on the side of France. It's still a very even race considering everything that happened, but unfortunately, France just wasn't able to get into the top spot. Batcake just really dominant on this track, didn't leave first place from pretty much the first ramp until the end.
Indeed. And I was kind of clamoring a little bit mid-lap too. I'm like, Jaker's in 5th. Let's see if we can break it up because 2-3-4 for France, and maybe he could have taken Shroomless or Shroom Cut, but it didn't look like he was able to break it at all. It did look like Crack was able to, though, obviously getting into to 4th. And
I do believe he got Nana the moment you said it by Night, actually.
Yeah.
Or by Fatal, or someone from France immediately backed a Nana on him the moment you tried to call that out. Unfortunately, a little bit of a caster's curse. But
Indeed,
yeah,
it was.
barely any lead from France left after this point as we finish this first GP. And gotta say, that's pretty much what we expected coming at the end of this first GP here. Very small, the smallest of margins of leads for France as we go into GP2.
And I gotta give my flowers. I gotta give my flowers to Backcake. It might seem like a micro interaction there, but it matters, right? I mean, seeing the POW coming, immediately adjusts and like holds his drift to the right instead of the left, because if you go left and you're gonna bounce off and hit the wide wall, if you go right you're gonna hit the ramp much later because the ramp angles to the left, angles downward, hits the ramp perfectly and does not bounce off. So that little micro interaction matters a lot. You know, higher level players would adjust there.
Oh, absolutely. Even considering the fact that Asia had the blue, it's still 2-3 from France, so one of them would have gone in first place if Batcake didn't.
Watch a trail here, maybe from Jake. They might trail France. We'll see how the spots shake up. Doesn't look like he gets any of them. Knight is able to stay up. No spin outs on minimap.
No shrooms immediately. Batcake still in first place for the time being. Should be able to fairly easily block the double cut with triple nanas and Fib. Yeah, there it is. At least one Nana being used. Knight being forced around in single.
Oh, Knight is off. Knight, or no, actually no, he's in second. Someone else from France got hit off rather, but Knight did get hit by Fatal's red inadvertently.
Yeah, Fatal in second. Unfortunately, yeah, getting hit by that red as you mentioned here. Let's quickly switch over POV to Fatal here in second place. Batcake should stay in first place for at least a while longer. We'll have should be out of snipe range even at this point, so Fatal should just focus on keeping that second position. And there's a lot of Asia behind him. I do believe 3-4 are Asia with Crack and Emil at the moment. Thankfully, plenty of protection for Fatal is pulled. That green will not connect either. More blocks on the double, maybe? No, it doesn't look like it. And Batcake does make the double fairly cleanly. It doesn't block it at all, considering the fact that his teammates are in 3-4. And France still have a lot of work to do. No Fatal, unfortunately, hitting that Shy Guy, and I do think that's top 3 now for Asia. That's a horrendous mistake on the side of
one of the most unavoidable items in the game, though. Obstacles rather. And good work from Emil. I gotta give flowers to Emil too. He had a very good TC pass right before, or like right after this set coming up in lap 2, and pass it to Istior, and really able to solidify that Asia top spots. Fatal is gonna try to crack it as best as he can. That POW call.
Ooh, very nice, preventing Batcake from taking the double. Did it POW him off? No, it forced him around in single, at the very least.
No.
It forced Crack in single as well. There's a big opportunity for France to try and catch up. Fatal still has so much work to do. Got to try and avoid those Shy Guys that he hit during lap 2. Thankfully, it is avoided. Emil actually ends up hitting them behind him, and it looks like it is 2-3, and maybe even 2-3-4 for France. What happened to Asia in the back there?
I looked away for just a couple seconds, and I mean, obviously we only saw... on our end, we only saw for a split moment Batcake and Fatal's pause, and I really have no idea what happened in the mid-pack. Maybe another Shy Guy, not entirely sure, can't speculate, but...
Well,
damn.
Okay, considering the POW earlier, there's definitely... Crack definitely just lost so much time to French players taking the double cut behind him, and I do believe I saw Emil unfortunately hit the same Shy Guy that Fatal actually hit during lap 2. and ending up with both Knight and Istior passing it. So once again, a late race mistake by Emil, ending with a really clean race for France at this point, and the lead is right back into France's court.
Yeah. I mean, this is high-level MKWii, right? Aside from the Shy Guy hits. I will say, another thing, knowing Batcake too, this is just me with his knowledge. This is not me being friends with him. This is just knowing Batcake. He is one of the less mistake-prone higher div players. Obviously, higher div players are known to be less mistake-prone than lower divs, but respectively, comparatively, with comparing D1 players to D1 players, I'd say Batcake is one of the less mistake-prone players. So if he's in first, it's a very big danger for France. We saw him cleanly run that, and avoid all the Shy Guys. Of course, that's a factor.
I mean, we've seen it for multiple races at this point. You mentioned as well, Rainbow Road, obviously, just so consistent from Batcake overall with his running prowess, and it is shown by the fact that he's currently as well leading this match in Indivs at the moment, trailed by 3 French players, funnily enough, and Byron in last, something that we weren't expecting going into this with all this talk about Byron being the 4th best player in Group A coming into this group stage. Waluigi Stadium is going to be the French pick here, and there's
Very
a
good
lot.
track to get first out of first, but Batcake is one of the less mistake-prone players, like I mentioned. Very hard to get him out first. Very good technical ability and consistency, and he does trail
Immediately
one of
shows.
France.
And I do think Knight also ended up
But he
getting hit
fails.
by Fatal's trail, but yeah, ends up either getting hit out or simply failing, as Istior now gets into first place and top 2 on the set of France. At the very least, Jaker trying to shroom up, but Fatal with triple
Istior is so dangerous. I don't want to Caster's curse this, but Istior is so dangerous in this track. Absolutely dangerous. I mean, we saw, okay, good sniper from Fatal.
Very nice, but doesn't manage to pass him just yet. Gonna have to burn the shroom to try and get ahead of Jaker here. But remember, with the blue to green line lag, Jaker absolutely still ahead on his screen, and it shows Jaker lagging back into second place here. Still a lot of work to do, and
Good
immediately, ooh, the bomb is scary there from Byron. It's good though, but yeah, Istior should have plenty of a lead in the top slot there. Oh, Red connects. That's disgusting on that wall trick. I think that's the first time I've seen that happen.
Going back to Istior, though, calling back to the France-Italy matchup, we saw Istior with a ridiculously large break in Waluigi Stadium, and he's starting to show that once again here.
Yeah, Istior, as we mentioned during the pre-game, just an extremely strong mechanical player, extremely strong PTer, and on a track as mechanically demanding.
Pay attention, though. Batcake holding onto a star, though. This, I don't know who has Shuck, but it's a very good indicator that Asia might be occupying it. If it comes, it has to come. TSing France taking the cut coming up here has to come as Batcake is going to take it. Pay attention. Obstacle around, though. Obstacle around, that's an indicator. Wait a minute.
Byron in the Mega, but Byron dodges in that Mega there. Wonder which...
that's a France shock, surely.
It had to be Curly. Byron does end up taking the wall skip, even with Batcake in-star right behind him. Byron so confident here, trying to back out Batcake, not connecting. That's going to guarantee a top 2 from France, and that's another big race from them. We see in the back at the very least, Fatal is golding up into 6th place at the very least track, going to try and back him, not going to connect. That is top 2, 6-8, and that's another winning race on the side of France off the back of that shock. And of Byron, proving his mettle as French's current MVP going into the finals bracket. Absolutely massive play from him. Then with Batcake chasing him in a star throughout all of that.
Yeah, and that's 100% a France shock, considering Batcake went around. And him going around there is an indicator that he predicted the shock, try to get a box, maybe to get Byron out. Because if it was an Asia shock, surely you would go through cut and they would dodge there. But yeah, I mean, it's a high IQ play from France. Really, they're breaking away in first. You know, most teams that are maybe mid-level would opt to hold it for a bit longer to secure first. But that is the play you want to make. Unpredictable shock and just Batcake predicting it nonetheless, because his in-game IQ is also pretty high.
Well, you got to consider the fact that with Istior being this far into the lead, you don't really need to play for that first place anymore. He has essentially a blue lead even after shock, so you don't have to be worried about him anymore. You can essentially just play as if you were playing for 2-3-4, considering the fact that first is already gone.
You are correct there, and that's just a testament to high level gameplay from both sides. Good shock from France, good prediction from Batcake, and I mean, we're spoiled here. We're spoiled for a high quality matchup between these two very potent sides, and it's going to be a 7 point lead coming in for France. I don't know what their highest. I haven't paid attention to their highest point differential in terms of their lead, but this has to be close because Asia had a bigger lead. No, it was France. Actually, 26
France has
point lead in the
27,
beginning, right after 2
26
races.
point leading. Yes, yes, yes. 26 point
Yeah, it was
lead in the beginning.
26 roughly.
Even though it was swiftly taken aback by Asia. Before the next race starts, I do want to point out the fact that there is a penalty for France. A box steal
Ooh,
lead to a -5 on their end, so this is why the lead isn't as big as it seems like it
okay.
should be. But Parkway is going to be picked, and actually, Jaker immediately hit out there by Fatal, and that is going to be 2-3-4 almost immediately going again
Oh,
for France. And Batcake once again in that lead there, having to do so much work for Asia. It feels like we're going to have to repeat that a lot throughout today, Jaggy.
and yeah, I know, and we saw a backfib there immediately on the landing of that little airtime line, and I think that does hit one of France. So Asia occupying, I was gonna say 1-3-4, but it looks like one of Asia gets back there by Byron. So very much a good play there from Byron, the fourth place Group A MVP, and Fatal coming up to back him up in 2-3.
Exactly, but Fatal shrooming through the cut there with triple shrooms and trying to challenge
He has to
Batcake
concede. No, Fatal
for
has to
that top
concede.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The Batcake having the tight line there, you can't contest that.
Oh,
Little bit too trying to correct a little bit too hard to avoid the Nana there, and Crack ends up making it into second place with triple greens, and the shock happens there. I do believe for France,
oh.
but Emil dodges alongside them, and the blue is pulled, and unfortunately that means that Knight is going to face the full wrath of it. But it's pretty scary in this position. Knight is so close to
And
Batcake
he's
at this point.
trusting Backkick to get him out. This is good. This is good if you're a Mill. I like this from Mill. Waiting for Backkick to make a play on the Fatal. The Fatal is going to try to stop Mega here. This is peak
The
MKWii, but he
POW!
doesn't get him out.
And the POW forces Emil to lose that blue in the end. Crack does make it into first place, thankfully, but that means that the blue advantage is completely lost. Batcake does end up making it
Doesn't matter.
into
They're top
second
two
place with
Asia.
that golden. Should be able to block that red using the green. The still top two in Asia. Do we see another
Oh,
shot come out?
that's
Batcake,
his lap two, Nana.
the lap two Nana ended up to bite him here. 2-3-5 for France. Batcake forced to slow down. Fatal with another mega that could be absolutely massive here. There's the ball on Crack. That race could
Oh
be
my
huge.
god.
Crack does not dodge it. That was simply lag there, and yeah, Fatal has so much work to do. If there is a mega on that bridge, if he lets Byron pass, that could be GG's for
No, I was
Asia
gonna.
just
No, he
right
should.
then
He
and
should
there.
just go for. No, I think he should just go for first here. Surely, I don't think he's gonna schlag on bridge. That's just conceding spots. He's gonna go for first. We're gonna be seeing a top two probably here from France.
He does end up going for the cut simply and surely, and that's going to be at the very least top two for France, but it looks like on our other POV on Emil's side, unfortunately, we're barely able to catch it just in the caster booth. And Byron failing the cut and Istior close behind, so I do think it is simply a top two, bottom two for France, another small winning race, but absolutely less than what we were predicting going into that ending section of lap 3 there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is the play. I think that is the play to just secure first. I was gonna say that is a 50-50 choice. You mentioned he could potentially schlag on bridge, but I think that is the right choice there to just to secure first. Because you never know. You might schlag on the bridge, and then there might be a blue thrown, and there might be somebody spamming a star on top of you.
Yeah, it is
In
very,
4-5, it's unlikely, but you never know.
it is very much to each team their own decision. I do believe that a team that's more aggressive. I'm thinking, for example, if JX might have gone for something like this simply to try and get a bigger lead going into this. But top 2-6-7, absolutely something that you will take here. Crack ending up being the last place that I thought belonged to SCR, and France back with a double-digit lead, 16 points going into race 8 here, or race 7, sorry.
Yeah, 18-point lead here. Not the biggest one we've seen, but definitely in keeping with what we've seen so far. I think, Asia have been making plays and they've been decent, but I think France have been a little bit more consistent. And I think we're seeing that reflect on the scoreline.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, fronts have been more consistent in their plays overall. Just more, as you mentioned, you mentioned this a lot with Emil being mistake prone, and I do think that is part of why Asia has not managed to catch the lead at the very least since the start of this match.
I
Simply
feel like,
because aside from that cake, there are
yeah.
too many mistakes made.
Oh, and immediately we're gonna see an exchange here as Fatal is gonna, yeah, top two here pretty strong. No back bomb potential here, but I do think this is still pretty strong from Fatal. Back kick is itemless now, and it's just about lines here in the first, and within the next 5 seconds, just all about lines. Misses.
Oh,
Okay,
and
speaking of all about lines,
misses the boost. It does manage to hurt Crack at the very least a little bit. That room might end up bumping him out at the very least for a little bit. Fatal does get back into the second place after that little blunder. Does give Byron more of a lead at
double
the
back
very least.
potential
And
here.
there's
Byron can back a fib tight here, and a little wide Nana here. No, Byron actually opts to go wide. Does not get as much ground as he could have, but we'll see a Pow coming in. Pow red attempt. Fatal just behind enough to avoid that.
the red actually skips them. That's massive for Frontier, keeping that top two position. Backflip could be pretty big there, but Crack manages to make the ground tight there. Unfortunately, Fib going a bit too far. And
Oh,
there's the yellow card.
107.
Crack does end up hitting it as well. The pressure from this 1v1 ends up getting to both players
Even the
here.
top players forget about 107 when they're trying to vie for any spot they can get.
Jaker in the Mega, Byron still in first place. No shock though, guarantees that this is most likely either Shockless or a France shock, and if that's the case, we're going to see it a lot later with Byron.
2-3-5 here for Asia, and it's very much a pressure situation for ACR. Emil with the TC behind him, and back kick with a green, but he loses green from the power shot comes in. Has to be in, France shock, Knight dodging.
France shock, but unfortunately it seems that he hit a car after, oh never mind, just simply a bit of lag there. Emil, that Mega thankfully mitigating the effect of that shock a little bit. Knight grooming, that's going to be at the very least 1-3, 1-3-6-8 I believe for France. Another small winning race. They're chipping away at this lead consistently, and this time, whereas for example Itior was the hero in Waluigi Stadium, this one was Byron holding onto that first place for the entire race. Great play by him overall, and just great driving, as we saw, for example, Bad Cake do the same during some of the previous races.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a couple spot changes there. Saw Fatal hitting the 107, but it didn't matter ultimately, as the shock did favor France. And Emil getting that Mega aftershock was pretty massive, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
very much Emil getting the item that he needs there. It did end up impacting Itior's race mainly, and seeing as Itior ended up getting bumped right at the end, forcing him into that 6th place there. But yet again, France, just that small race that ends up making a huge impact there as we are approaching the end, as we are into GP3 now, 21 points ahead. Almost the biggest lead of this entire war, and now this is starting to get really scary for Asia if we get even 1 or 2 more small winning races from France.
Indeed, yeah. Time is starting to tick here. Anything can happen in MKWii at any given point, but we are going to be seeing Maple Treeway coming out from France. Not a bad pick here for 135. I mean, it is pretty staple 135, if you ask me.
And it is going to be the pick. Yeah, pretty typical odd pick on the side of France. No weirdness being used today, and Maple Treeway is a track that they're particularly fond of. I do know that from talking to a lot of these players just in general. With Byron in first place, I do believe that he should be able to hold this for a while if Bad Cake doesn't end up pulling some weird draft there. Actually, it seems like they actually ended up immediately getting bumped out by Jaker. No, just a little bit of lag once again, and Bad Cake with that lag ends up being the victim of it. And we see a lot of Asia in the back, with Jaker only in 2nd place with a lot of fronts all around him. Fatal outlining him immediately now in 2nd place. And this is already looking like a really good show from France. Jaker trying to shroom up and actually does manage to break that red here. Really good play by him, but still has Byron to go through for the time being.
Oh, I wonder if Fatal should go for a bomb snipe here, though. I mean, considering that Byron, he's not too far ahead. He can go for one right here. Or snipe. I don't know what happened to his bomb, but good snipe.
Does connect onto Jaker. Very nice play there, and Crack takes his place in the end. 1-3-4 for France still. This is a very good race for the time being. And Knight actually does end up shrooming ahead. Crack is going to get Reddit here, most likely. Does manage to break it, thankfully. Gets the item as well. Blooper, unfortunately, not going to be enough to catch back up. But you see, that bottom two, a big a big break from the pack here. I wonder who is down there. Probably one French and one Asian player from what we've
Oh,
seen throughout this
that's a
pack.
good call from Asia's perspective, but Crack does get hit out a little bit.
If anything, no, it's a better pound for front, all things considered. It was kind of
Yeah.
cracked and ended up getting hit out by it in the end,
Yeah.
and that is the top 3. Oh, Byron actually, a mechanical
He's
fail on
off?
his end. So now top 2, and Emil with a mega in third that could be absolutely massive
Oh.
for
He could
Asia
get
here.
up to first here with this. Oh, the blue especially, yeah.
On the bridge, oh no, that is probably the worst spot to get blued. It's one of the worst in the entire game. And Emil now with a mega in second
Pay
could be the
attention
hero
though.
for Asia.
What Emil does with this mega is going to be absolutely telling for Shock.
Does he use it now? No, it might be an Asian shock in the cannon. Will we see one here? Doesn't seem to be the case either. Does neither team have the shock? Could be the case. Sparkster,
Oh,
very nice fib by Knight there on the jack
I think he got
jack
Byron. I
here.
think he got Byron.
He did get Byron indeed. Thankfully, Emil managing to secure that second place. There's a star coming up, and it does seem to be his teammate Backtake right behind him. 2-3 on the side of Asia, and suddenly as Franz just had so much of a lead going into the middle of lap 2, Asia have managed to catch up at the race a little bit. Our top 3 in those, our 3 POVs in those top 3 spots, unfortunately, so we don't know what's going on in the back for the time being. Securing that first place.
Oh,
Blue
2-3-4 maybe?
was held. It is 2-3-4 for Asia. Istyor in
Yeah,
fifth,
Crack.
most likely.
Yeah, Crack did come up the rear there. I mean, he was fourth for a decent bit, but I didn't think he was in fourth until that mega schlag there from that mega schlag made the difference there from Emil making up for that fib hit.
Absolutely, yeah. That mega managing to just hustle it into second place, having such a huge impact. Sorry for the bad joke there, but just managing to get into a spot that Byron wouldn't expect it in, and just managing to catch him off guard. Fatal, thankfully, holding on to that first place after Byron's mechanical mistake and Knight's blue. And overall, Asia firing back at the race a little bit, still 14 points behind, but in 3 races, that is absolutely manageable as a comeback, as we've seen from both these teams with how combative they've been throughout the entire series and the entire group stage so far. With that being
What
said,
is the
though,
scoreline now? 14-point lead.
Yeah, 14 points ahead for France for now. BC3, there's the first BC3 pick that we've seen so far, with Koopa Cape being chosen by France. A map with a lot of history on the side of France there. A lot of crazy World Cup moments actually happening on this very track. Thinking of, for example, the draw against Germany a couple of years ago that has ended on this very track, or the night moment against Ireland that we're probably all thinking of. But in all seriousness, Koopa Cape is actually going to get chosen for this race 10, and the Fatal just has even more work on his shoulders there, and you're praying for a green shell pull if you're Fatal right now.
Fatal has a lot of work to do to stay in first, and he looks like he does concede a little. No, it looked like he was going to concede first, but he does bump one of someone coming up there. That lag bump there, green line to green line. I think that was
Yeah,
Batcake, maybe.
That was Batcake indeed. Batcake, though, getting triple greens, actually managing to get the trail out and take the Shroomba, so even while getting bumped out, still having a lot of impact for the time being. That green going a little bit wide, unfortunately. Batcake getting a Shroom, it looks like, it managed to get in there. That bomb going, unfortunately, a bit too wide. It could have been massive for Fatal, but unfortunately, that is going to be Asia in top 2 for now. Still a lot of work to do.
If
On
Fatal
the side
here,
of Asia to hold on.
Fatal is not afraid to stay in the. Oh, I think Jaker went for a a star share there, but I don't think that star share. No, it looked like he did. It looked like Jaker did get that star share. So top 2 break here.
Yeah, just a little bit of lag on Jakers, and there that blue to green line lag, as we've explained numerous times.
Good
On
star share, especially with blue and green line. It's so much easier to get a star share.
Absolutely. Fatal still in third place regardless of a Shroomba take, since Jaker also took it. So Batcake still having to do that little 1v1 there. On our other POV, we can also see that Emil is actually once again holding the blue for his team. Another blue pull by Emil. That mega could make the difference, though. On the side of Fatal, no shock has been pulled so far. No bagger has been gone past that last ramp. So that mega could very well be held for a little while. That green looks pretty scary, forces the mega out, and I don't believe it's going to be a dodge, unfortunately. Very nice stick, actually.
Oh my god!
it catches Batcake by off guard, but it looks like just a little bit of lag there. Actually doesn't manage to catch him. Barely. Triple green's not connecting either.
Good,
Pow on
good
landing
pal.
onto Shaker, and it is going to at the very least slow him down a little bit. That Trumba is going to be very important for both players that are fatal. A lot of work to do still. That green tuning up, not connecting either, still bouncing a little bit. Could maybe connect in the stream, who knows? That red throwing it back kick, it is going to connect, thankfully. Jaker is the only one left in first place for Asia. Thankfully safe
A blue
with
being
Emil
held
on.
here though by Mill. No wonder why there's been no blue.
It's been held for a while now. That
Here,
shock waterfall though, and
here
HR is
comes Knight, and here comes Istior.
dodging very well here, and I do believe, as you mentioned, yeah, Knight also dodging here. That's 1-3-4 for France for the time being, and it looks like a massive race for France. If we can get Jaker out, this could be even larger. That red could make the difference. Will Istior choose to back there? And he actually does!
I think he's out. Oh, I don't know.
I
He
believe
crossed the line.
I believe he crossed the line. That should still be second for Asia regardless, but still, that is a massive race on the side of France. We see bottom two on the side of Asia. That blue being held for 2 laps by Emil, not ending up mattering because of that stock pulled by Tony there.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was such a big shock. Double dodge.
Yeah, double both Istior and Knight dodging there is massive. I'm so surprised that red didn't connect onto Jaker there. That green to blue line absolutely mattering, and yeah, Jaker barely crossing. If that red connected, that would have been at the very least a 4 to 8 point swing there on the side of France there. But still, very good race from them regardless. 1-3-5-6, still huge results as we come to the end of this track. Only 2 races left, and they're up 23 going into that last stretch. Still very, very favorable from France there. Still showing a lot of momentum, even with how small their wins have been throughout this entire match so far.
I'm digging here.
That being said, we still have 2 races to play. We wonder what Asia are going to try and go for to counterbalance that. We have already played something like Sherbetland, something like Gardens. They've already been picked now. We see a little bit of hesitation on the side of Asia. You're in a tough spot here, and you choose to go to RBC in 2-4-7-8. Track, you're more used to seeing in just raw evens with at the very least 6 to try and get another draft spot, but it seems that they are confident going into this. And Coconut Mall as the pick for France there. That actually is going to end up coming out. More of a specialty pick from France there that we've seen them pull out during the group stage, and that they have performed well on from experience on this track specifically. Fatal in third place should at the very least be holding that for low. Oh, a little bit of mechanical fail there on the side of Fatal for the time being. Should at the very least get some rooms to catch back up, but yeah, a little bit of a fail there. Still Asia in pretty decent spots in the mid pack. Pack extremely close to the start of Coconut Mall. Triple fruit, very nice back by Crack there to start us off on this Coconut Mall.
And it looks like a 1-3-4-5 for Asia.
1-3-4-5 indeed, and Truman 1 for Batcake is terrifying. If you're France right now, you have so much work to do to get Batcake out into first place. I'm expecting him to just hold on to that room. He has enough of a lead to just simply play it safe and try and avoid a potential blue shell coming his way.
Pay attention to Mill here. Switch over to Mill. He's getting redded, and he opts to use that Mega to obviously prevent getting redded. No box there. Is he going to schlag on cut? We're not going to be seeing too much of an aggressive schlag there, but still decent spots here for Asia. Oh, bad box miss. Bad box miss.
That's a really bad box miss indeed, but the POW essentially did the work that the Schlag ended up making in the end, just simply preventing France from taking cut as much as possible. But they're still in 2-3 positions. They're not in bad spots regardless. Ooh, little back connecting onto Emil there.
And Jacob going cut path.
Yeah, simply wanting to try and get boxes fairly easily. And so far, Batcake still holding onto that Truman first, not afraid of any potential blue shells for a while longer. If you are getting backed onto the
Wait a minute! Oh, yeah, Batcake lost first.
Yeah, and the blue shell was immediately thrown by Emil. Unfortunately for, I believe it's Byron. Yeah, Byron indeed ending up blued right as Emil pulls it. Really unfortunate on the side of France there. And Asia now top 3. If there's no shot,
beautiful double back!
Oh my god,
that was amazing!
Fatal getting comboed there. That's extremely bad for France. That could be the break that Asia have needed this entire this entire match so far. Byron in 4th place, gonna trying to very just make it even, but we do see Crack up there as well. Istyor in 4th place, Byron in 5th. It looks like Crack actually did end up getting hit out in 7th place now, top 3-7, and that should make things fairly even going into the last race for this Asia France match. Match
That
one even.
was that double Nana back onto the fib combination was absolutely poetic. That was
brutal.
actually really, really visually appealing. I gotta say, that was very good work there too.
Yeah, just in general, extremely good play by Asia to get that double back onto the circular staircase there, and yeah, top 3. 6th actually, Crack managing to lag Knight at the last second on Fatal screen. Knight was definitely ahead, but Crack managing to break into 6th place, and I do believe that it's practically even going into the final race here. We're gonna have to see once the scoreboard is updated, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty much dead even going into the last race, which pretty poetic for both these teams. Yeah, 2 points difference once again, same as we had during that race 4, and Asia can make this comeback after an entire match of being on the back foot.
Yeah. Asia rise up here. They definitely needed that race going into this last race. I mean, how tight this is. 2-point deficit going into the last race. But France have been here before. France have seen, I mean, both of them have seen these razor tight decisions, razor tight matches, but France, they were only up by, actually, no, they were down against Italy in their first group stage match by, I think, like high single digits to low double digits. They came back and won. They were very, very tightly contested against LTA. They won at the end, and now we're seeing a MKWC, which will favor Asia, though. Definitely, especially with 2 very good glitch takers, top 10 in the game. Emil top 5, definitely. Batcake top 10.
Batcake currently has glitch world record on this track, so you
okay, well, there you go. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a big, big time trial world record there. I was very much a supporter of that one. So definitely in the top 5 discussion as well is Batcake.
Yeah. 2 very strong glitch takers indeed on Bowser's Castle Wii, so very much a lot of just needing so much.
Not going to block it, though, leaving it open for Emil, maybe.
Just choosing to back it, and it seems like Istyor actually did end up getting trailed by it, it looked like on our screen with Batcake, and immediately we see Emil most likely going for
very
that cut
close
there.
attention.
Fatal going for it as well, but it seems like Fatal failed it, and Emil now has a star in first
Star
place.
in first.
Exactly.
He's in a bit of a pressure filled spot, though, getting sniped or getting redded. We'll take a look to see how he approaches this and whether he keeps that star or if he sees a red or a green coming and maybe uses it quick.
Batcake being forced to swerve at the very least a little bit. Knight trying to make an effort to get back up there. Knight should get redded here, most likely. Doesn't look like he does end up getting redded with the back.
Ooh.
There's the blue should force that star from Emil there. We will see an early shock. It doesn't seem like it. Both backers still going
Batcake's going right path. Ladies and gentlemen, pay close attention. Attention, here we go. Batcake will switch over to him after this one. Emil fails it, though.
Emil fails it, and Batcake doesn't go for it at all.
That's a huge pow!
This Fatal make it. If he makes it,
Fatal! Oh my god!
This could be massive. Byron in first place also made it. That's 1-3 for France.
Oh my god! Huge!
Race turned around in the span of just a second, and we see Istyor up there as well.
Top 3! That's unbelievable!
That could be massive. France needs to block this cut at this point. We need to block it to prevent Batcake and Emil from taking it.
He gets it back. Oh my god!
Do we see Lutz is further ahead in the back as well. There's a bigger chance that Lutz has the shock, which could very well.
Lutz is off though. Lutz is off.
Gonna have to check if Sparkster does it as well. Will we see the block on the side of no blocks?
There is a block.
I just think I saw no.
Right side, left side glitch. Here we go. He's on. No, he doesn't.
Doesn't make it. Byron does get blued though. That could be
good blue
for Asia at the very least.
Ladies and gentlemen, France are 10 seconds away, but there's a shock.
It does seem to be an Asia shock, just in desperation.
Doesn't do much.
Does that red connect by Emil? Could be early massive
France.
here. Fatal stay into first place. Will we see that top 2?
Allez bleu, they have done it.
France keeps their lead, and that's match 1, even on Asia's track pick. Massive plays there by both Byron and Fatal, making that cut. Emil not making it, Batcake not going for it, and that ends up biting them in the end.
That is the biggest caster's curse I've ever committed. They're top 3, and I'm just like, okay, there's no way Asia could screw this one. I didn't say that, but in my head I was thinking that.
No, you definitely did not say it that way, but yeah, top 3 from France, top 3
Oh my
7.
god.
Massive race by them, and France convincingly in the end takes that takes that first match by the skin of their teeth, ladies and gentlemen. Massive race to start this series, and obviously, I mean, we just called it immediately. We just said that it'd be down to the wire between these two teams, and it absolutely shows here. Bad Cake trying so hard to be the hero for this team. 118 points for him in this first match, but unfortunately, not enough. And now Asia down 0-1 going into this
Yeah,
quarterfinals
I
here. This is where it gets scary.
obviously if it comes off, it's if Emil makes that glitch lap too, nobody would complain. Nobody would say, "Oh, he shouldn't have gone for it," right? Because he made it. But considering that Asia had a decent, it wasn't a huge break, right? But it was a decent enough of a break to, I would say, block the glitch, right? Because worst case, one of France takes it, and maybe 2 of France, but the second French taker wouldn't break that top 3. The first one would break the top 2, maybe get into second. But I would have to agree with the JT. I don't think it's worth the risk reward there.
Yeah, just in general, I think it's most likely just the confidence of Emil saying, I can take it, I can just get us a lead, enough of like a blue shell lead, try and guarantee. Remember, they've been on the back foot this entire match, so probably just a moment of confidence for Emil to say, I need to just make the play, I need to be able to lead this team to victory on the track that I'm a specialist of, and unfortunately, just this once, it breaks, and Batcake, I simply think that either Batcake didn't have the item to block it, or simply didn't assume that it'd be worth the risk for himself to go for it, and unfortunately Byron and Fatal just taking that opportunity to get into those top spots and making all the difference from front in the end.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I would really blame Backache for not going for it at that point, because the amount of time. I mean, initially, right? If Emil fails glitch, he only has like maybe a second or a second and a half to react to that. So he's probably thinking, all right, just let Emil do his thing, and if I fail it, then obviously it would be detrimental if Emil fails it too. I think Backache kind of understood the risk reward, and Emil, went for all or nothing and got nothing.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of trusting your thing. He's immediate. We had the POV of Emil for just a second there, and he's actually TTing that glitch right
Oh
as
my god.
the
Oh no.
PTSD is very strong here. That's that's unfortunate that we saw that, but yeah, it's just very strong just overall play by France. Also,
Yeah,
just them knowing that they don't have to take that risk lap 3 and just simply continuing to block it. It was also just good decision by them, not wanting to make the same mistake that Asia did just a lap ago.
indeed. Let's take a short break, shall we? Let's digest this match 1. It was a very entertaining one, might I add. And we'll be back after these short messages. All right. I'm actually gonna be right back too. Just
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the quarterfinals of this Mario Kart Wii World Cup 2026. Asia lost this first match against France, going down 0-1 in this quarterfinals there, even as the bigger seed. As for the first match, I'm Scoped, and it's my pleasure to be casting this today alongside Jaggy. So, Jaggy, thoughts on this first match, which came down
That
to the
first
wire, so to
match,
speak?
it was as close as I predicted it to be. I mean, these two teams are very evenly matched. And I didn't really say much in the predictions. I just said Asia 2-1, but we did say that France has more synergy, Asia has a little bit more individual skill, I'd say, overall across the board. But then I kind of predicted it. Like, I predicted the Asia downfall. I did say that Emil's a little more mistake prone compared to other D1 players, and there were a couple, like, obviously the glitch, right? That's an obvious one to point out. Like, if he makes it, he makes it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But there were a couple, like, smaller, interactions in that war, like falling off last turn in a star and RSL, and there were a couple other, like, micro interactions that he did kind of fail. And I think that kind of made the difference, really, for Asia. I'm not going to scapegoat him, but I do think that France now, given that match one win, and given that they have one of the best, levels of synergy and chem in this MK World Cup, it's going to be hard to shake them.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think also we saw Crack crumble a lot at the end of these races. We saw him in the mid pack and then suddenly be in 8th place at the last second. So I do think that was maybe part of it. It's just that Emil, obviously, being our POV, we see it more often. And speaking of
Yeah.
Emil, immediately diving into the cut alongside Fatal. Unfortunately, Knight trailing his teammate there, so the triple is not going to do that much. Crack drafting with triple red, and immediately Fatal thrown into the back of the pack here alongside Istro. That fit in 7th place. Bottom 3 for France actually starting off with this. Definitely not what you want to see. Byron, so much work to do in the top half of the pack here.
Ooh. Emil going for that normal line, right? Trying to get that, like, tight box with a really low trajectory, but gets bumped out by his teammate. Good schlag there, attempt rather. I mean, someone got hit out with a green rather, but it was a good attempt there to really, further solidify those top spots. And a blue being held by Emil as well is huge.
How many blues has Emil held during the series so far? Definitely feels
Quite a few.
Very, very.
Jaker and Backcake are such a dangerous duo in this top 3, and Backcake, one of the lesser mistake-prone D1 players, gonna be expecting him to adjust to these backspins pretty well, you'd expect, but he does get hit out quite a bit. I think he got bumped off by Fatal. He got bumped off by Fatal.
Seems to be the case indeed. That POW not going to do much to shake France so far. Jaker still in first place by quite a margin, and obviously, as we mentioned, Emil still holding
2-3 for France. Yeah, this is a massive 2-3, and even if Byron gets hit out, look at this 2-3 break from 4th. I mean, it's not a terrible position to be in for France at all, and it's going to be very easy to dodge this 2-3 if they have it.
We do see one of the baggers spinning on the mini maps. I do not believe that any of them should
No, Chocolates.
Yeah, very much Chocolates indeed. Byron gonna just simply hold that second place for as long as he can. Fatal taking the cut to extend that lead a little bit from 3rd to 4th. Unfortunately, our POV so far being in pretty much the dead of the mid pack here, not much happening. That POW going to actually make Emil lose the blue if we switch over POV really quickly. We do see that POW did end up making him lose quite a bit of time in the back of the pack there. From the pack should stay relatively stable until the end. Should be a guaranteed 2-3.
Pretty nothing race here in terms of the top 3. Pretty let's switch over here to Emil real quick, see if there's anything in the mid pack. There was a bomb, and Knight spun out from the bomb, but did not fully get in the blast, and that's going to bring him down. I don't know the extent that's going to affect him in the long run. It does affect him. He gets 8th.
Another blue shell throw, and I believe that is 2, 4, 5, 8 or something along those lines for France. So once again, fairly close race. This time it seems to be 2-3-5, 2-3-5-6, sorry, or 2-3-5-7, 2-3-5-8. Oh my god, what am I saying? sorry. 2-3-5-8.
8, yeah.
2-3-5-7 on the side of France. Oh my god, sorry, I can't speak after that first match.
It was 8, yeah, it was 8. You're good, though.
Okay. 2-3-4 actually, Stuart did manage to make it in first place. So actually, first race, once again, small win for France. The tendency that we've seen since the start of the series, just overall small wins from France, chipping away at the scoreline and at Asia's morale over the course of this course of this match 1, and seemingly starting this match 2 on the same foot.
Good start there from France. I mean, it looked like Asia started off really strong, right? There were 1, 3, 4, 5, but it was some little things that happened here and there. They were able to shroom past the Mega Schlag from Emil, and were just able to hold their own and really grind their way up there, as you would expect from someone like a team like France. Very good core four, and not really any like massive superstars that anyone's that sticks out. I mean, aside from Fatal and Istior, but they don't really stick out as much compared to the other two runners as Asia. But they are a very good synergetic unit. And if we do see it Waluigi Stadium here, yes, we do. It's going to be again tough to shake them.
Absolutely, we saw during map 1 Istior having essentially an entire blue break simply by raw driving skill, and it is most likely that if he ends up in the top of the pack once again, something similar is bound to happen. For the time being, though, it is Fatal and Byron in the 2-3 positions now, with Jaker this time in first place. So a little bit of a different lineup there at the front of the pack, and Byron immediately trailed by Jaker actually, but
Byron's out, but Fatal trails Batcake. Even trade-off.
I do see, I believe it was Istior behind Fatal. It's tough to say. Knight shrooming ahead, actually. And Ludz being the first bagger, I believe, as well.
Emil gets bumped by Jaker, gets slowed a little bit by Jaker. Unfortunate there from Emil, as he would have, I think he probably would have made a very scuffed. Good fib.
Hits the fib and doesn't end up getting the box because of it. That's 2-3 at the very least for France. 2-3-4 actually, as Istior does manage to make his way up there, but Emil triple shrooms once again, pretty exactly the item that he needs in this position, is going to be able to try and join Jaker in that top 2 spot. We do see Istior shrooming as well, though. Should be only a single shroom, though, all things considered, so Emil should have the advantage here. Never mind, Istior shrooming back in the front of the pack here. Turn skip using the shroom there.
Fatal, I don't hate the shroom chain. I don't hate the shroom chain to try to get a box in second and maybe try to get Istior out, but it's risky though, considering if anyone takes the turn skip, they're going to take boxes too, and that's what we saw from Istior.
Bomb on landing. The blue is going to get cancelled actually by Asia. Jaker wanting to hold on to that top spot for as long as possible, and I do believe I saw
comes the cake.
Batcake. Yeah, Batcake dodging in the bill there. A little bit wide there on that ramp, most likely due to a poor bill drop.
Oh, that's gonna hit Jaker! Oh, Jaker's out!
Oh no, that's a massive mistake from Emil. He tried to target Istior, making the cut either shroomless or with a shroom, but in the end, Asia still 2-3-4. At
no turn skip!
Up there. That kick through a red up, not exactly
still
sure
2-3-5. Oh, it's a huge pow from France. That's a big pow. They adjust really well, though. Super good adjustment from Asia.
Indeed, and that should be...
Track's out!
Track is hit out, not exactly sure if Fatal does end up getting hit. That is a late front shock to get Fatal up into, I believe, 4th position there. Emil does manage to dodge it with a late mega pull, but that is absolutely late front shock to try and get another top spot. Should be 2-4, I believe, for France. But as you said, great adjustment on that T-Pow at the end.
Yeah, ultimately that red didn't matter at all whatsoever, because they still kept 2-5. But I mean, I understand the intention there, because Istior was ahead. He threw that like a quarter of a second at least late there. I mean, he waited for Istior to be almost past cut before he threw that red. Kind of odd there, but maybe he stuck in 2 mines and then threw it late. But nonetheless, doesn't affect them.
Yeah, maybe just didn't expect Istior to take the cut in this position. It was really soon after shock, so maybe you're not expecting him to take cut immediately. And unfortunately, that little bit of brain fog, that little bit of just melting under the pressure here, allowing France to get another decent race there with that 1-4. Unfortunately, Fatal's late dodge not managing to get as much value as you would have hoped it to be on a late shock like RWS, but still very decent race from France. And once again, should be a small winning race.
I didn't see the results. I did not see the results. Yeah, I thought they kept 2-3-4-5. I didn't see the results ultimately, because I was trying to look at. I got tagged by somebody, so I was trying to look. Thanks, Batcake, for letting me know his. I did check the DMs. I didn't check the final results. Sorry about that. But Batcake told me his laptop died, so his call list. He was call list for a while.
Ooh, that granted, he did end up holding the bill, so all things considered, he didn't have to do that much. Dryder Ruins is going to be the pick for France there in that 1-4 position, and it is still as close as it always is. Small win for Asia, all things considered, with France only 2 points behind.
Yeah, and Fatal sneaking into fourth. Like I said, they did not keep that 2-3-4-5 like I had thought when I was checking the DMs. Fatal in a very good spot. He opted not to go for Sandhop though, but doesn't matter as this year does make it pretty clean.
Yeah,
Good back.
Gives this hero the space for it, and does end up in that top 2 regardless. Crack with triple red, though, should end up hitting Fatal at the very least once. First, the break on the wall. Second, on the wall glitch will end up connecting. Unfortunately, Fatal not getting a box, not getting anything that he needs to make that play. Byron does end up shrooming up, though.
Would
The
you
Pal in
T-Power
third place.
first or second here?
It does seem to be a
Chains.
T-Power into first place, or simply a chain trying to hit out Byron potentially. This Byron simply taking the Ultra, actually, it looks like did end up getting a pretty good chain. It looks like taking the Ultra.
Is that Alex
Ichor.
EDZ with Shock? Sitting up there, just overlooking, just the world is my oyster. He's sitting up there with Shock, I think.
The blue did end up being thrown, but it didn't seem like it did that much damage. Byron only in third place now with Bad Cake in second. Bad Cake once again the hero for Asia for the time being. And as you mentioned, Luds overlooking this plateau here with with Emil once again holding that mega. It is going to be forced though, thankfully for France. Should be a fairly free
Big
shot.
blue.
There's another blue from Emil.
They're gonna hold it.
This time going to be most likely thrown instead of held. Fatal does end up taking the cut though on our other POV. We do see him come up. So a lot of fronts there in that top 4.
2-3-4.
Actually, Bad Cake simply in first place, going to try and
I think
hold
this
it
is a
now.
moment where you could start backing your life, right? I mean, this is a good track to back your life in.
Well, that was interesting little TC interaction there, but it looks like Fatal is going to be thankfully not passing it to his
And just
teammate.
like that, Emil's third.
Yeah, Emil is in third place after all of that. You're probably bumped a little bit by...
Pay attention though, remember France had Shock.
Indeed, and it is going to get called late. Not exactly sure if anyone dodged though, maybe far in the back. But Emil Baker in 3-4, 1-3-4 for Asia so far. Goldening, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Fatal is going to only get 5th here, and that is only a 2-5 for France with that shock.
That Shock got Asia into boxes, or one of Asia into boxes. I mean, unless Alex CDZ lost it, I mean, he was sitting up there just perched up there pretty end of lap 1 with that shock hold. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, still a good race there from Asia nonetheless.
Yeah, no, that was just I think simply France just did not have the call. Unfortunately, they tried to get that call late, tried to get Fatal back in after that TC, but I think they just didn't have any dodges. They didn't have really any way to get back into it. Potentially, some maybe would have called a TS on the wall glitch there, just trying to get Bad Cake out of first place, but that would have been a very risky shock to call. So I think unfortunately France just had since the start and didn't end up having any calls to make, and that ends up biting them hard as Asia, for the first time this BO3, ends up being in the lead by 11 points going into GP2, or going to the end of GP1 rather.
Yeah, first lead of the entire series. It's actually crazy to think about because it's been so tight, right? It's been so neck and neck.
Absolutely, it's just been it's just been small chipping away from France the entire time, with Asia trying to fight back. So you don't believe that Asia should be this like, it seems like a really surprising stat, but France have been on the dominant end throughout match 1, really, with small bursts of catching up from Asia throughout that entire match, when then ended up petering out in the end. Peach Gardens on the side of France, exactly what you need to try and catch a little bit of a breath of fresh air going into the end of the GP1.
And this track definitely you can control. This is one of the more controllable reset tracks, as they are going to be in good spots here. And expect Emil to go for the draft. If he doesn't get the draft, he'll probably drop for a bottom box here. We are going to be seeing... Oh, he actually opted to... It looks like Jaker dropped instead.
And double cuts from Knight and Fatal, immediately top 2 for the French squad here. Shrooms for Knight and Mega from Fatal to get up there. Bad Cake in third, Byron
We saw...
in fourth place.
In the bagging battle, we saw Sparkster commit first. This time we see AlexDDZ commit first, and we'll see eventually who gets that winning exchange.
Nice try from the niche green there from Fatal. Doesn't end up connecting either. Badcake still staying in third place. Some more back, and that crew in
Oh,
second. Very nice. That back, not exactly sure who it connected on, all things considered. Badcake will remain in third place, but no room to his name. So Fatal should be able to hold that second place fairly easily for the time being. Last one try at that
yeah.
back
And
green.
LXDDZ did lose Bill going forward. It looked like he committed first, but then he kind of like conceded ground to get a niner, and it looked like it was a Bill right away from LXDDZ. So good spot here from Asia from a bagging perspective.
Yeah, most likely just going to try and chain in the maze, potentially contest Sparkster there. Shroom chain from Emil simply to try and get those French players out of the top spots.
He's in snipe range of second.
Nana's not connecting so far, but as you mentioned, he is in snipe range for the time being, but none of them have connected. Fatal still fairly confident into first
That
place.
Nana was way off the mark there from Emil. Nothing doing there.
And Green going really wide as well. Pow into the...
Good pow though.
Well, Knight actually stops the Shroom from going onto Knight there for the cut. A lot of Asia up there now.
Ooh.
2-5, I believe, with Knight.
Emil's not going to be able to bomb snipe because there's a Asia ahead of him in second and fourth. We'll pay attention to see. Oh, Fatal! What?
Fatal hit. It seems maybe hit a fib that was there last round. Last
Oh my
lap round.
God.
And unfortunately, Batcake now into first place. But we see a late shock potentially. It does seem to be the case. If it dodge anyone, I believe
Oh my God.
Dodger in the back, and it seems to be Byron actually making his way up there. Could be a potential 1-3 on the side of France.
Oh.
Gonna have to see who ends up being behind. That is 1-3-5
My God.
for France. 1-3-5-6 actually. Very huge race from France off the back of a very
my
late shot from
God.
Byron.
And Asia, I think Asia are going to feel very hard done by with that race, considering that Sparkster was gone 10. They're going to be very, very disappointed with that one.
Yeah, the unfortunate reality of those shocks 9 very much showing here. 1-3 for France. Just overall, very good race for them. Maybe not one that was deserved on the bagging side, but you have to consider the fact that Knight and Fatal were holding the top spots for a long while, just during the entirety pretty much of lap 2 and through the middle to end of lap 1. So they were definitely dominant for a lot of it until disaster struck for Fatal there. Just a blind back put by most likely an Asian player in one of those back spots. Thankfully, though, the Shock managing to secure that race for them.
Indeed. I mean, in terms of the bagging battle, right? The first match, I didn't really pay like a whole lot of attention. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But from the looks of it, it seemed even with LXDZ having a bit more favor, I think, in that bagging battle. I think there were some very important shocks that France had. And so far in this one, well, that was a niner considering that one, but it seems even in this one as well. Both very good baggers in their own right. LXDZ with a bit more experience than Sparkster, but Sparkster, pretty. He knows he's got a good game sense. He can pick up bagging, and he has picked up bagging very decently so far this year.
Yeah, he's definitely been competent against Lutz for sure. This match so far, Lutz has definitely been the one pulling the most of the shocks, but Sparkster definitely no slouch in that regard, as we've seen so far. Sherbetland is going to be
though. Gonna concede.
For Asia. Byron's still going to keep that first place for now. Could absolutely back up. No! Make the same mistake that Emil did in match 1.
The well-oiled machine has broken. Badcake has made a pretty crucial mistake that you don't expect him to make.
Jaker does end up into first place at the very least. There is one Asian top spot up there, but yeah, the first mistake that we've seen Badcake make throughout the entire time that we've watched this POV, at the very least, first driving pure mechanical mistake on his end. Red is going to be thrown late, might connect onto that last corner, does not end up being the case, probably thrown just a little bit too late. 2-3 still for France.
Sparkster was in 10th at first, and he fell off with Bill. He fell off with Bill again, that time in 9th. And LXDZ, very big break, very good for France here. Oh, good power there from Asia's perspective, but good adjustment for Fatal.
Very good dodge there. Also broke a red onto the corner as well. Now top 2, look at this break top 2 has on the rest of the pack so far.
Switch to bet.
Here. If we switch
for a moment.
Really quickly,
oh wait, we might see a blue. Jaker's going back. That is massive.
Oh my god, that blue play is absolutely huge there from Jaker. And that's top 2 for Asia off the back of that massive play by Jaker. That lounge experience definitely showing in that regard, just overall high-level experience.
The lounge experience, the overall game experience, very, very experienced, multiple years in high div and KG, especially notably. And very good play from Jaker. Gonna secure that top 2. Backkick is one of the best schlaggers in the game. This is gonna be a very, very good exchange. Pay attention to see how Fatal approaches this.
Oh, and actually just get back by Jaker! A bit too
Oh my
aggressive
god!
there. A bit too aggressive there and allows Fatal to get into 2nd place. Will we see it back on the crack? Doesn't seem to be the case. Istyor making his way up into 4th place, I believe. And remember, we do believe that France has the shot.
From Asia.
Shockwave does connect, but I do believe I saw someone dodge in the back. And it is Byron, as we see on our other POV, does end up making it into 2nd. Oh, Istro actually makes up into 2nd place, sorry. Mies ended up being a little bit too similar. Emil getting back bumped on our other POV. Crack gets drafted here.
Good draft from Fatal.
Could be massive 2-3. Gonna have to see if FR does the rest of the work behind them. And it does seem to be pretty decent. 2-3-4 at the very least with Backkick in 5th place. And the last member of the French squad in 7th. So winning a race from France, if just barely.
Guys, for everyone watching out there, I swear to you all that I've never had this many caster's curses in one cast. I mentioned that Backkick, like the first instant call out I had was one of the best schlaggers in the game because he is a fantastic schlagger. I've 1v1'd him. Oh my god, unreal schlags. But then he gets backed by Jake and then allows FR to get into 2-3-4. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, granted, not 2-3-4 by itself, but does allow Fatal to at the very least get into 2nd place, which then sets up the rest of France. A bit too overeager. Not exactly sure if this was simply overeagerness by Jaker or simply just a miscommunication, maybe not expecting the green to come out this early or this late, rather. And just overall, maybe a bit of miscommunication that ends up biting Backkick here as he ends up in the back of the pack. And France back into the lead, if only by a small margin of 5 points. As always, let's be honest, it seems to be the case that France can't manage to get a huge lead unless it's the very start or the very end of this war.
Oh my god. It's such a pleasure to watch this. Such an entertaining series so far. I mean, the biggest lead that we've seen from France's side was 26 in match 1. The biggest lead from Asia's side, I want to say like maybe single digits.
No. They're at the start of this match, it was double digits. It was barely, but it was double digits.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But still, though, nonetheless, very tightly contested as we expected from the jump. And CM here.
Another CM. Funnily enough, a track that we haven't been used to seeing that much in this competition, or just overall in high-level Mario Kart Wii. This is usually a track that you see taken more towards like the latter half of wars when there's not that many tracks left. But here, race 6 picked up by Asia.
We saw Asia in, I think it was race 11 of the first match take. It might have race 12, 10 or, oh wow, big bomb. Who's going backwards in a mega? What the heck?
That was Luds, I believe.
One of the baggers. Yeah. Okay. The Asia took this CM by the scruff of the neck last time, and let's see what they're occupying this time around.
I believe France is actually, I was about to say 2-3-4, Crack, the only member of Asia in a taunt slot there. Fatal gonna try and flag Emil at the race a little bit. Emil actually holding the bill and being forced out. Emil, another bill, it looked like, this time being forced out with a shroom actually for Fatal. Definitely a pretty decent chain on his end. Then Emil.
I guess we read it out immediately.
Yeah, Emil joins Crack in 2nd place and immediately gets,
We haven't seen Crack that often in the top. I mean, he's a competent player, so we'll see how he is able to keep his first. He has a decent break from 2-3. I don't expect him to lose it very easily, if not at all, really.
Backkick ends up hitting the Nana, not even needing Fatal to use those reds for now. Can just simply hold on to those, trying to back out.
Oh, and Backkick gets backed as well by that back read Fatal, or back red rather.
Very nicely played so far. It's your maybe a little bit profitably hidden Nana or something along those lines. Let's Byron pass for the time being. Crack with a very decent lead into 1st place. As you mentioned, not a player we're used to seeing in the front during this match, but absolutely showing that he can. Oh, and immediately.
And then he's out. Yep. Did he hit the side of the escalator? Is that? Oh my god.
I possibly, I'm not exactly sure if it's a driver error or simply a snipe on the side
I
of
think
the
it was a driver error.
Unfortunately, so top 3 though on the side of France, and since this is TM Big Sitter, no shock is to be expected then. Should be a fairly clean race from France, and another case of Casper's Curse, right as we mentioned that France have not managed to get a huge lead throughout this entire series. Top 3, possibly even top 3-5, as Batcake does manage to steal 4th place from Knight, and they're now up basically 30 going into the halfway point of this war.
I need to zip my mouth before I get Team Asia coming for my head, because the amount of times I've cursed them is ridiculous.
The amount the amount of times that it has happened at this point is definitely pretty hilarious. But yeah,
I missed
unfortunately,
it.
I do seeing
Good.
the way that he spun, it's possible that he had first a driving error and then got sniped out or simply hit out by Baron or Itziar. I believe that is what happened in the end. But the result
Okay.
remains the same. The result remains the same, top 3-5.
Considering where he was, right? Considering where he was, it's very possible that he got stuck on the side of the escalator. And obviously, that's a not obviously, but for those of you watching at home that don't know, if you get a trick, it's well, the on lap 3, it's an upward escalator, right? So he might have failed in the first part of the escalator and then just kind of trickled as like slowly crawled his way up the escalator. It was either that or he got caught on the side of it after the initial landing on the trick. Either way would have lost a ton of time.
Okay, I'm seeing here. Yeah, there. Okay, the chat is flaming us for that, and they are right in this instance. That Crack actually did end up disconnecting during that lap 3 in the end.
Gotcha. Yeah,
We did
did
see him
DC.
spin out.
Okay.
We did see him spin out first on Fatal's POV and then just completely disappear. Unfortunately,
Yeah, no,
we missed.
we were both looking. No, his POV. We were both looking at another POV, and then all of a sudden we just see Crack just like stood still. He didn't obviously like he didn't DC right away. Like we still saw his name, so did DC.
Yeah, so it's going to be a reset at the very least for Asia. Still a very good race from France, all things considered. Now up more than 30 going into the halfway point of the war with Crack DCing. Really unfortunate, was in first for quite a bit of this race, and as Asia are already down, it seems that fate is not on their side either.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. He did DC, but I mean we're keeping track of 3 POVs, so kind of hard to see.
Happens regardless. You should have been more attentive to the bottom of the indivs. Regardless, still Asia clearly not managing to get a break throughout this entire time. That even without that disconnect from Crack, it should have been a 2-3-4 at the very least from France. It would have been another, even small, would have been another winning rate on the side of just another winning race on the side of France. So all things considered, even if France didn't get that huge rate, still would have been Asia on the the downward trend going into the second half of the war.
Yeah, I mean this is not the worst, not the most insurmountable thing to come back from. 30-point deficit with at least a half war to go. Definitely not by any means any stretch of the imagination. But I mean France again, well-oiled machine as a team, and we'll see how how Asia can respond from this. And we'll be back in a couple minutes after these short messages. Stay tuned.
And we are back after this quick little reset there. So for those that may not have seen in the chat, Josh is actually going to be replacing Crack for at the very least the remainder of this match, I believe, after Crack's disconnect. So we are thankfully not going to be seeing any more disconnects on the side of Asia, but France still very much in the lead here, 30 points ahead, top through 5 going into this race, and a Bowser's Castle pick on their side is going to be what maybe allows them to finally get a bit of momentum on under their belt and cross that 31-point threshold to guarantee at the very least a one race cushion going into the latter half of this war.
BCWii coming out, MG coming out. Yeah, BCWii on the side of France, which is definitely not afraid to contest that sort of notion that Asia are some of the best, have some of the best players in the game in the BCWii glitch. They are going to contest that notion, and we'll see how they do it starting off in these spots.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of blocking to come out on France's side, simply because there are historically, at the very least, they're clearly not during this map, but historically their glitch takers have been less consistent than Asia's have been, and Jaker immediately getting into a top position and immediately flagging out both of France's top two there. Emil managing to golden up into first place there first, and there is his potential redemption on the glitch here. Will we see it? And perfect glitch from his end. Fatal ends up failing it on his side. Exact mirror of what we saw during this race during map 1.
Yeah, match 1 he did make it lap 1, and then he ended up missing it lap 2, crucially, as they were top 3. But he did TT that, he did TT glitch right after the race, trying to envision that run back. And that run back, I was going to say, is pending, no longer pending. And here is another Asia curse as we see a blue coming in. Istior slipping into first.
At this point, it's a habit. Istior immediately slipping into first, as you said. Batcake, thankfully, though, in third place, trying to accompany his fellow Asian player. Backgreen Backgreen actually connecting onto Batcake right behind.
Istior is not going to... Oh, that fit from lap 1 is scary, but we're going to be seeing him align for it once again. Emil, 2 for 2. It is 2 for 2.
There's the redemption that we were saying. Even with a blue gets back up into a top position here. Istior still behind and Fatal in 5th position. So France not in too bad of a spot, to say the least. We do see one of the baggers did respawn, though. His Sparkster could very well be... not exactly sure what happened with his lag, though. Could it possibly be a shock already pulled by either team so far? Emil does have a bit of a break, though. Can simply block the... Block the glitch.
Shaker with a good schlag there. Very good switch on the... I mean, I think it was on the left side POV. You guys didn't see it on your end, but a good schlag, mega schlag from Jaker does catch Fatal, and Fatal is going to be kind of gone 8 now.
Pout does manage to get Emil in the air at the very least.
Big break. Sure, just block, yeah.
Double block should never be able to be taken here by either team unless there is a lot of time lost by one of these players. Let's switch over POV really quickly towards Fatal. Actually, with a Mega, could potentially take it, but that simply chooses to go around.
Oh, this is such a big bomb. Oh my god, what a pull. He's going to be able to probably get Batcake out. Another blue.
Another blue, and Istior actually does manage to break into first place. Emil taking 2 blues on the one race that he has managed to run, and unfortunately it does get Istior to first place. Thankfully though, Asia in 2-3-4 at the very least. Fatal in 5th place, so still winning race for Asia, even with 2 blues going right at Emil, and Istior getting first place in the end.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, 2 blues, very unfortunate for Emil after going 2 for 2 there. And I mean, he essentially played that race perfectly as you can. And that just still goes to show at this high level that you are not guaranteed first, even with that.
Absolutely. Granted, he did not end up going for the glitch top 3, but simply expected there. The risk reward is absolutely not worth it with Istior hot on your tail at this point. But even in the end, Istior does manage to get the last in first place. Still a very small winning race for Asia. For once, not saying it's about France for once throughout this entire series, but they are still quite a ways from making that comeback. Still 21 points behind after this BCWii race.
21 points behind, but still chipping away is Asia. And for 2-3-4, I'm not sure what they would pick here. Maybe a BC3. I mean, you can go a wide variety of tracks here. GV is a good 2-4 pick as well. But we are going to be seeing...
They're debating on it. Seems to be...
Yeah.
Could be BT3. We have yet to see a BT3 this
We're probably gonna see
entire
no
series.
MC3 though. No MC3 coming out from France. Usually that's good for 1-5, but France have historically been good at KC.
KT indeed, and there's the BT3 pick. As mentioned, no BT3 yet throughout this entire series. Surprisingly enough, 2 Coconut Malls and not 1 BT3. Definitely could count the amount of series where that's happened on one hand. And there it is, the BT3 pick, the most chaotic track in the game, and one with the most potential for any simply pack splits throughout the entire game. It would be really interesting to see, especially with Emil being a really consistent player or on Ultra, maybe running another race after BTW.
Yeah. Oof.
Shroom immediately, but there's your
Triple
back
bomb.
on a next actually who ended up dropping. It might have been Jaker here, and Asia in 2-3 off the rip here with Fatal in 4th place, hot on Emil's trail for now. And let's see what ends up happening here. Shroom Cut is going to be taken by
Very good
Emil.
nonstop.
Is the only one that rather Istrar not taking it. Jaker right behind Emil in
Jaker
the
took it with Shroomless. Jaker took a Shroomless, so I mean it's top 2 here for Asia now.
Nanotite not connecting, possibility of a double back that Fatal does end up avoiding in the end. Still Asia top 2 for the time being, and the back
And a bagger break.
does end up connecting for Emil. Great play with the blooper, just not ending up seeing it. Sparkster.
Well, Blue's going to be coming in now. It's good, but careful, Blue here. He might stay on the track. He might not, depending on how he approaches this. Does get on.
Simply going for Ultra, pretty expected from Emil here. Should be fairly consistent. Never mind. This time I'm the one Casper cursing Team Asia. It seems Fatal going for it and also failing it. Unfortunately, both.
Oh my goodness.
Emil fails it again. Oh no.
Oh my goodness. But nonetheless, we see Asia occupying some decent spots here. It's going to be a 2-3-5. No, 2-4. Okay, one. Okay, France is off. 2-3-4 though.
At the very least, really good spot from France for now. It's yours. The only, sorry, Byron, I believe, is actually the only one up there for now. Byron indeed in first. The only bastion for France.
Tricky POW though. If they have Shrooms in 2-3, very tricky POW.
Yeah, could absolutely be a very big target POW there onto Byron. Gonna have to see. Will they end up trying to maybe to take cut with it?
Oh, weird.
It's not going for the montage play. And Blooper, definitely not the thing that you want if you're Bad Cake here. Emil, far enough behind that you have more than enough space to go.
Everyone makes cut.
Bothering your teammate. 2-3-4 at the very least for France, with Fatal also taking the Shroom Cut, and Knight chaining with Omega should guarantee at the very least a very decent race for France there in that 2-3-4 seat. Pal Red could be interesting in the end though. We'll have to see if Knight doesn't end up getting hit by it. Doesn't seem to be the case. 2-3-4-6, and that is winning race for France, firing back right after that BTW race.
Indeed, yeah. Good race there from France. They all took cut. Very consistently so. I mean, considering their positioning, they were all bunched up and whatnot. Very, very good synergy and team play there to be able to all take cut without messing each other up.
I think we just need to stop talking about Team Asia in general.
Kinda, yeah.
Because now it's both of us.
It's getting ridiculous at this point with the amount of caster cursing.
2-3-4-6 though, very good spots for France overall, even with Jaker holding down the fort in first place after the slight fails from Emil that we have seen on our POV, unfortunately. So yeah, France back into a fairly decent lead there, 28 points ahead as we are coming down to GP3. Very close. So it has been very close, but France does seem to be pulling away at the very least more than during map 1, mostly, unfortunately, thanks to that cracked DC during Coconut Mall.
Yeah.
Gonna have to see what they end up picking to try and make back that deficit, though. Seems to be another KT pick on the side of France. A pretty comfort pick for them, just overall picking it pretty much on the exact opposite spot that they had during the last race. And on the side of Asia, we're doing the exact same thing. I think I had an echo for a second on your mic. That was weird. We're good though. So yeah, KT is going to be our pick for this race 9 here. So at the very least, we are fully aware of what we're expecting here, and if you're Jaker, same as Fatal during map 1, you're just praying for that elusive green shell pull during that first box.
Indeed, yeah. And we did see Fatal and Backache in the top two, in that last race, but this time it's going to be a little different here, and we'll see how this race plays out. Jaker is going to pull.
Oh, that is triple
Pay
blues on the
attention.
side of
Nothing important.
Batcake. No green shells at all during that entire top 3, which should allow Batcake a fairly easy route to that first position here. Should hold on to that last shroom. Is actually simply going to use it, possibly just... Not exactly sure if he failed the shroom list or simply chose to take it in a somewhat peculiar way. Either way, Emil following him close behind top 2 for Asia immediately. That red is going to be thrown and possibly not breaking most likely in that glass tunnel. Going to be heavily delayed though. Actually did break on...
Does break somehow, yeah. I was going to say Backache could leave it for Emil, but it did break, so Backache takes it for free.
Thankfully for Batcake, not punishing his teammate there by picking up that star should secure a fairly easy lead into first. And we see Jaker as well in third place. So for the time being, Asia...
No Shroomba? Interesting. They are top 3 anyway.
Yeah, simply choosing to hold on to that protection. I assume, yeah, I was about to say, I assume Jaker just takes the Shroom Cut there and wants to hold as much protection as possible going into the stream. They're simply, possibly going to try and back out France as much as possible. Knight in fourth place, green thrown at him, not connecting so far. Both backers still sitting at the set so far, should be shockless. Asia in a really good spot to try and fire back after all of the mishaps during this map.
And I think France, okay, good star drop there for fourth. I was gonna say France respecting the backspam potential a little bit as Emil kind of broke away a little bit from fourth, looking at minimap, but Knight is gonna catch up. He has to respect the space here for Emil. Emil off the back, not a bad idea considering he had those triple nanas.
Very nice back red there, connecting onto Knight in the end. Should allow Emil to get a fairly easy break there. Fatal does end up taking golden though. Oh, did he use golden really early, it looks like. Actually ends up losing a lot of time to that ending grass cut there, passed by Knight in the end. Bomb tight is going to force around.
Everyone avoids, yeah.
That should be a fairly easy top 3 on the side of Asia.
Asia are seconds away from getting a huge race. There's no shock being held. Otherwise, it would have come there for France.
Yeah, and we see Luds dropping yet another star. It is guaranteed top 3 on the side of Asia, and they're firing right back. Should not be breaking back into the lead, considering where their last member ended up, which is, I believe, ended up in 6th, potentially. Depends on how good that last shock was for them. But top 3, 6, even then, not enough to fully break into the lead there, but at the very least enough to fully press the reset button on this match for the last 3 races. Gonna have to see. And yeah, top 3, 7 actually. Josh got 7th, not 6th. But still enough to at the very least be in striking distance within the last 3 races. But remember, last time we saw Asia get really huge races during the last GP, the last race ended up biting them, so this can absolutely go down to the last race once again, which would definitely be pretty cinematic for both these teams and pretty thematic, all things considered, with their group stage runs and match 1.
Just like that, cutting it down to 7 with 2 to go. I think 2 to go? Or 3 to go? No, it's 3. It's 3.
3 to go. 3 to go. 3 to go.
Yeah, it's 3. It's 3. But still, though, 9 with 3 to go here, and expect. What are they going to go here? Delfino, DK Mountain is not bad at all, honestly, for these top 3 spots. BCWE is already off the table, and Emil in third. Third is a very good starting spot. Could even outline second, and they could coordinate it pretty decently if that's the case.
Gonna have to see, but yeah, as Zoran points out, and that's the case for Asia too. Every single war between with these 2 teams so far, almost, except for their losses, have been gone to the wire and pretty much could have been played down to the last race. So, all things considered, once again, very thematic for either of them. And DK Mountain is going to get chosen. Very strong running pick for Asia there, and could very well be enough to finally break France once again and get their second.
I want to pay very close attention to Emil here. His line is good. Yeah, he does not overtake Bad Cake, but still going to keep that top. Well, in this case now 1-3-4, as we do see One of France slipping up there. Byron is in a very pressure-filled situation, sandwiched by Asia. Let's see how he approaches this. He's going to opt to go for a box, not staying in that tight line. And let's see, is he going to land tight? Oof.
A little bit of driving error there, ends up letting Knight and Fatal pass, and now that top 5 is full of France players there with Batcake in third,
Super
and
mixed.
still thankfully Jaker in first place for the time being. And it looks like actually one of France's players did end up getting hit out by Batcake or by Jake, so that is now top 2 on the side of Asia. Very strong.
This is double back territory here with Jake having a Nana, and no double backs here yet. Batcake's opting to hold this for a little bit. Maybe trying to size Knight up a little bit before he pulls the trigger.
Possibly back, yeah, exactly on this blind turn. Not going to connect though. We see Josh in fourth place at the very least, making his way up there. Does seem to be a fairly good race for Asia so far, and another track where Shock is pretty unlikely to be pulled. Actually, right as I say it, Josh does end up getting hit out, and Iskior makes his way into third place. Front pretty much all in that mid pack for now. Knight forced to do a little bit of maneuvering.
Oh, he's in sniper range of Batcake, maybe? Fatal is? Opts not to go for it, but he lets Istior try to snipe him first. Good idea.
The greens didn't end up connecting. Good avoidance on the side of Batcake there. That red and bomb could be pretty devastating. Byron with that mega trying to predict an Asian shock, but does not end up coming out. Neither team has the shock. Have to see, will we see that?
You're gonna see Fatal coming up with a bomb snipe attempt where Batcake, right there where Batcake is, there's gonna be a bomb snipe thrown by Fatal. Let's see if it lands. Where does it land, if anything? Nowhere near, and he gets a back spam off Batcake.
Very nice, yeah, and as we stated, just Asia in such a strong position, and seems to be the case for the rest of this, and could even be a top 4. Actually, wait, if we switch over to Fatal POV.
Oh my god.
Last second shock, Batcake does get at
Asia!
Blue,
top 4!
Top 3! Top 4, top 3, I'm saying. Asia top 4, massive race for them, and there is the lead that they needed going into the final 2 races there. Finally having a big foothold into this match, and off the back of a very clean front run from both Jaker and Batcake here.
Yeah, pretty flawless runs there from Jaker and Batcake. We saw it was a little bit later than I expected it, but we saw some double backs later on. We saw Batcake getting a huge back toward the end of that lap 3, and I think before cut lap 1 as well, he was able to get a France member out of a top spot. So that is very much the response that Asia needed. Granted, they did get a big race in CM later as the war winded down, but they weren't able to hold on. That being said, they do have a lead now. Can they hold on this time?
Very nice. Yeah, 20-point lead. The biggest lead that Asia has had this entire series, if I'm not mistaken. So very much in the position to force a game 3 there on the side of Asia. Extremely strong position from them, and hopefully this is not another case of a Casper's curse that's waiting to happen.
Yep.
With that being said, though, Toad's Factory and GCN Mario Circuit. GCN Mario Circuit, pretty much just a French special, I want to say. A lot of French teams pick it, pretty typical for them. And Toad's Factory, pretty expected here in that top 4 position. And let's see, it is going to be GCN Mario Circuit. So France do have the first card that they need in order to make that comeback, which is their track, big GCN Mario Circuit. Very strong bagging track for them, a track they're very well used to, that they have tried to pick before in these wars. Gonna have to see if that ends up panning out for them. Fatal most likely gonna just barrel through that. I was about to say those items, but doesn't end up getting anything. Knight doing the exact same, and does end up getting a shroom actually. Knight is going to immediately get into first place there, with Batcake in second place, Draw in third, and Iskior making through the.
We haven't seen too much of Knight so far in this war. Now he's in the spotlight. Let's see, avoids that Nana. Very well done from Knight. We'll see. I was going to expect a backspam there. That's a very tough backspam spot to avoid, but he's going to keep his protection, which is smart. And he's going to have to take good lines here if he doesn't want to get overtaken. I think he will anyway get overtaken by Batcake.
Should be the case. No, he was simply holding on to another shroom.
Yeah, he held a shroom. Wow.
Was wondering if that was the case, but yeah, no, Knight simply having triple shrooms to start this race off, and that's
a third one to dodge. Yep.
Exactly, that third shroom will be used there, but that means no more shrooms for the rest of this race, which means that if Batcake pulls a Susui there, can potentially get into the first place. What?
That is so unlucky.
What just was that? Another
He got
blue?
blued. He got blued again.
Yeah, that was another blue. Just 10 seconds later, I seriously thought that was just an insane amount of lag, but no, second blue
No,
and
you're good.
disconnecting onto Knight there, and Batcake makes his way into first place. Those sparks are
Sparkster trying to drop a star potentially here, but he's going to approach LXDDC. Is kind of within range, not necessarily, not too far in range. He's probably still going to go for that star drop.
there. It is with Fatal dodging in Omega. That star is
He
going
can
to get
schlag,
dropped.
Backkick can schlag, maybe pay attention. Backkick isn't a star, it's lagged, but he isn't a star here.
Yeah, not on a star on Fatal's screen though, so not going to be able to hit him out, but that star should be more than enough to at the very least get back into fun, stay in first place at the very least. That is 2-2-4 though on the side of France with that late shock. Knight staying in the back here. That is a small winning race from France, but at this point, small winning races are just not enough. You need a huge race to finish this war off if you want to try and prevent that match 3.
That could be the star drop of the series. That could be the play of the series. You never know. That was a big star drop. I mean, granted, it is a play that you expect a bagger to make at this level. It's very much like in football. It's like a 5-mile-per-hour grounded shot, but still something you have to make, right? A very important 6-point swing here on the side of Sparkster, and we'll see if that makes a difference.
Absolutely. Down 17 going into that last race. You need at the very least a top 2, 5, 6 or something along those lines to make up that deficit. So very huge race needed on the side of France. That last track pick could already make that difference, and they need to break their habits. They've been getting those really small winning races for the entire series at this point, and now they just need to put the hammer down and make a race like they got at the end of map 1 with Bowser Castle Wii, and just put the final nail in the coffin and try to win this.
Yeah, we'll see though. This is not over by any stretch. I mean, we have seen France show up and show out on multiple occasions in a race 12 setting, and we'll see how they. I mean, especially that last war. Granted, it was a little bit of shooting themselves in the foot from Asia, but that along with their match against Italy, that race 12, and a couple other late race scenarios do not count France out.
Absolutely not, and we'll have to see what that last race ends up being, which will be N64 Bowser's Castle. They do get their track pick at the very least, and this is the first RBC of the series. First RBC of the series, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Another staple track, another Bowser's Castle that we only see during this match 2. Batia gonna try and swerve a little bit, prevent any.
There usually isn't. Yeah. After the first 30 seconds of the race, there's not too much of a swing potential. In fact, there's more of a breakaway potential with double backs. Double backing is so important. Getting in front is so important, and we already see France grinding their way out.
Jaker getting hit out almost immediately. We did see Byron in the top slot, and Itjor is up there as well. Double back.
Top 2 from France.
That Nana connecting double, and that green connecting as well. Itjor making absolute work of these Asian players here. Top 2-4 for France for the time being, and as you mentioned, Knight also coming up with a star. Those greens dodged by Fatal. Great play by him. Josh bumping him out. Very nice Troom off. And
I want to see back kick. Is there a back kick POV right now? Yes, there is. He is going to be the sole. Okay, it's a target POW here from France. He's going to. Oh, there's the back green wide.
Very nice place from France overall. Double back and that target POW. Thankfully, Josh and Emil are going to try and make up for that deficit. Emil goldening into third at the very least, but itemless behind Itjor, and Itjor has been surgical on these backs as we've seen during
both of these. Yeah, Team France has been absolutely flawless so far in this top 2, making the plays that they need to make. Emil going ultra wide, cuts inside. Ooh. Very nice reaction time.
Very nice, and that Daisy Drift definitely helping him out.
That green.
Ooh, triple reds are going to be most likely.
Wait, if you're Emil, you hold these reds until the very end, until like the beginning of lap 3, surely.
That first red did not end up connecting.
You gotta hold on to these reds, yeah.
Might end up what he's going for. The second red is thrown and most likely broken on that left wall. Nana chain, and unfortunately, Emil's greed at the end of lap 2 most likely will mean that Itjor should block that third red unless there has been.
Yeah, I thought he was going to hold on to those 2 reds until the straightaway, but he opted to try to throw that first one with high trajectory that did not connect.
Triple red once again though, and
you need more than this. They need more than this. Top two. They're top two, like bottom spots.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see that both baggers are still respawning. They still are battling out for the shock, and Sparkster is actually ahead. And Batcake gonna be forced into that mega at the very least, depowering Emil in the process. But as you mentioned,
Fatal, pay attention to Fatal. This is going to be the POV. Oh, he pulls a blue. That's actually not what you need here.
That's unfortunate.
And there it
there's
is.
the late shock. That should be Asia securing that win during match 2 at the very least. Jaker dodging during that Starlight. Fatal hitting that Nana. 3-4 is absolutely
3, 4, 5. It's going to be enough for Asia, probably. That fib on landing, very well coordinated from Jake to call it out. And Asia, barring any penalties, are taking this to match 3.
Very nice. Just overall unfortunate for Byron and Istior. They played that well, but as you mentioned, the rest of the top 4 was also just completely broken away from 5-6. There was no way of them to catch back up. Fatal tried his damnedest during lap 1, but just simply ended up immediately bumped out by Josh on the bridge there. And Asia will force the match 3 there. We expected it. We called it out during that pre-match, and it will go down to a match 3. Even if it is, once again, by the skin of Asia's teeth, only a 12-point lead. Definitely not the most comfortable of leads going into match 3 for sure.
I mean, an Asia and France matchup is never comfortable for either side. We've seen that historically, not just in the World Cup individually from them playing other teams, but somebody had pointed it out that they always have these close matches. And we are very much seeing this on the grandest stage. Thankfully, no blowouts from a neutral perspective. But I got to say, good response from Asia. And I think for this match 3, if France want to show out, we got to see something from Knight. We really haven't seen too much in these first 2 matches from Knight. So I think he has to step up really if France want to succeed.
Definitely, that is a player that we have expected to be more proactive in general, that we haven't seen much, at the very least from our POVs during these matches. But yeah, it's just, I do want to point out as well that this win by Asia was also off the back of that cracked defeat earlier that ended up with possibly a downright a 10-point swing, a 15-point swing. So the fact that they have managed to avoid any potential mental backlash from that and eked out that win regardless is very impressive from Team Asia, and I'm expecting a match 3 to be just as intense as the first 2 were.
Absolutely. I think this match 3 is going to come down to the wire. First, bracket stage cast, and it's a pleasure to be going to match 3 here between 2 evenly matched sides. That being said, we'll be back after these short messages.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, once again for this match 3 of the semifinals between Asia and France. Both sets settled by less than 25 points, extremely close sets on both ends. Jaggy, we're in for a match 3 for the ages, I gotta say it.
We're in for an absolute banger here. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So for those that just joined during match 3, because I know we had a little ping for match 3 here, both sets were extremely close. Unfortunately, Crack, who played match 1 and half of match 2, ended up DCing during the Coconut Mall race, where he was in first place, and ended up being subbed by Josh, who is going to be playing the rest of this VO3 here. Asia clawing their way back from a 30-point deficit and ending up winning the last GP by almost 50 to finally claim their first win of the quarterfinals. And going into this match 3, both teams definitely showing that they have the combative reputation that they've garnered during the group stage. Very scrappy wins on both sides.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, this is probably one of the most difficult matches to predict in MKWii history for me from a casting perspective. I did say Asia 2-1 in the beginning, but in terms of this match, I honestly couldn't tell you. It's an absolute toss-up, so I don't want to curse Asia, so I certainly don't want to say anything.
Ooh, very nice draft from Fatal to start things off here on RSL. Jaker with that non-info is going to try and contest by quite a bit. Not getting that empty should allow Jaker to stay in front, but we see Isjar shrooming and Josh shrooming, Byron shrooming, 2, 3, 4 for France so far, so a lot of work to do for Asia. And Emil actually getting a shroom into 4th place, it looks like, but
in danger though. I mean, Emil's in danger here from Fatal. Fatal could just kind of go slow a little bit, try to really make it difficult for him. He wheelie bumps him.
Very nice play by Fatal over there, trying getting into 4th here. A golden by Batcake is going to allow him to pass and join Josh in that top 2. Josh, not a name that we expected in those top positions, but shrooming at the start on RSL just needs to hold on.
I mean, he's not bad. He's a decent player. Josh is a decent player. There goes Shock, though.
Shock immediately. Very early France Shock, just trying to break into the soft spots, like dodging in a star and trying to make his way back up there. Batcake still in first place, Josh in second, I believe, for the time being. So not that huge of a shock for France, but since Lud's in first, is in 10th rather, you might as well use it to try and get even more of a lead, or at the very least trying to cut it back as we go.
Beautiful slip drip from Batcake to avoid that Nana. That was actually really nice.
Very nice indeed. So for now, top 2 is going to be held. Sparkster just respawned as well. Going forward, most likely just going to try and change to drop a star. We do see, I believe that is Knight and another star once again, getting into 2nd place at the very least, finally passing Josh.
I think Asia, Asia are very decent spots here with Jaker, occupying that 3rd. That's a big swing.
And France finally getting to first position. Great play by Batcake to bump into the wall there. But that's the 1-4-5-6, and Byron just dodged an Omega. That's going to be 2 shocks for France, and that's most likely going to be curtains for this first race for Asia. Fatal is going to hold back to try and get a box in a late spot here. Batcake triple shrooms, though, could potentially pass at the very least.
No, I'm not going to do much, not much.
Yeah, we're going to pass Isjar at the very least. Maybe bump him into the penguin, but that's still top 2 for France. Top 2, bottom 2 for France starts off. Even with 2 shocks, Asia clawed back to the mid spot. Great play by Batcake to bump Isjar there and forcing at the very least sandwich spot.
That was a big swing there, bumping Isjar. Very, very much a damage control race there.
Absolutely, yeah. 2 shocks on RSL, definitely not very easy to damage control on, but that 2nd shock just allowing Byron and Knight to get immediately into those top positions and securing it at the very least. Small winning race for France. I really should have added a counter ever since the start of this BO3 to see how many times I got to say that. But yeah, the trend continues. +3 for France. Small winning races. Ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty much just a continuation of the first 2 matches.
100%, yeah. I mean, I usually in MKWii, especially in a best of 3, you start to see some momentum swings one way or the other. But I don't think there has been a 2-race back-to-back, exchange of two big races. Not a single instance of that in this entire series.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty much just France continuing to chip away at the score, and then Asia getting a huge burst of like a couple races that ends up being like what they need to barely claw themselves back in, and then it's back to France just chipping away once again. That's basically been the entire dynamic, and it's been either how many races can France chain that chip, or just how much of a swing Asia can bring to the table during these couple of races where they just have that spark. Moonview Highway is going to
When
be
are
the
we gonna
low
see
spot there.
GV? I haven't seen GV this series yet.
Another staple track that I don't. No, I do believe we have seen Moonview before. Maybe
No,
wrong.
GV. I'm asking when are we gonna see GV? We did
Oh,
see
GV.
Moonview in match 1.
Oh, GV. Yeah, my mistake. Misheard.
You're
Having a little bit of issues on your mic there. Might have to do a quick recheck of that. Emil immediately getting into a golden at the very least, though, trying to get back into a top position. Fatal passing a TC to Batcake. It looks like Batcake is going to end up eating it, and unfortunately for Emil, Knight lagging that bomb car, and right back to last place he goes. But as we can see, Istior and Fatal in 7th and 6th so far. Actually, now in 5-6 with another member of Asia falling to the wayside. So pretty good spot for Asia, for France overall. It looks like occupying the mid pack. Yeah, Batcake having eaten another TC. Emil forced into the bill that he was holding for the beast a little bit, and the bill drops him just before the U-turn. Thankfully not into the bomb car. Byron and Jaker still fighting it out in that top 2 spot, with Emil barely in there to try and get sniping distance of Byron.
Yeah, and it looks to me like that is. Oh, Byron clips the side of the car, completely just giving that second away for free, and it's going to be top 2 for Asia with, I was going to mention, Sparkster winning the bagging battle.
Indeed. We do see that Fatal on our other POV is holding a TC, which he is going to end up tanking a TC for teammate 4.
Oh!
Double star dodge and the blue as well. And
that's so big. That is such a big swing. Oh my god.
Yeah, winning the bagging battle maybe, but it looks like Lud had it for quite a while, as Fatal was holding that star for pretty much, not an entire lap, but pretty much half a lap. And Fatal now with a crewman first, the dynamic of the race has completely shifted, as they are now top 2 with Asia in 3-4-5 at the very least. Let's quickly switch over POVs, as Fatal should stay in first place for the rest of this race. And actually, on our other POV, Emil ends up getting bomb card here, so should be a guaranteed top 2 with 3-4-5 for Asia. We do see Byron at the very least, and Knight trying to fight it out a little bit. Knight, will he get the last item needed? Back bomb not connecting, and Knight should secure that 6th place, should be top 2 6-8 at the end of this race, even with that double dodge with 2 stars in the mid spots. Not that much more than what they managed to get on RSL.
Indeed. And we're going to see a +5 or +7 race here coming in for France. Very big swing, though, might I add. Very, very big shock swing.
Top 2 6-8, yeah, they're very huge shock swing. Just Lud is once again he's proving that superior experience. I do believe that he was 10 when he pulled that shock, and Sparkster just pulled ahead when Lud pulled the shock. Speaking of, regardless, once again, the small winning rate on the side of France, and now up 8, and yeah, the trend just keeps going. Like, I don't know what else to say. It seems to be just the trend that France was going for, and it has served them well during match 1, but ended up biting them during match 2. We're just going to see how it ends up panning out, and if Asia managed to break that cycle.
Yes. See what they come out with here. They're going to pick a BC3 again. They did pick that last time out, and it didn't end up favoring them in the end.
Not really, no. Warriors Goldmine would be the first time that track has been picked, surprisingly, given the amount of sandwich spots, and it is going to be a WGM pick in that top 2 6-8 for France here. Most likely just the current top spot of France, more comfortable with that track than the previous ones had been. Fatal in first place, with Batcake in 4th, maybe trying to get an immediate draft, and Emil close behind for a POV. Does seem that Knight stays in 2nd for the time being, though that pip could be pretty huge. We do see at the very least a bit of shrooming. It is Istior shrooming from the back there. That is top 2-4, it looks like.
Oh, and Knight coming up in a Mega 2. This is looking really, really strong for France to start.
Jake shrooming up into first, and Asia in
Oh,
fourth
but
place.
then
And there's
again,
the back. Very nice back onto Fatal there. And right as you said, that
and gets
France
another
starting to
one on
get
Istior. Oh my
that's
god.
absolutely massive. Right as you mentioned, that France, this time he's cursing France instead of Asia, as Asia are now in
Yeah,
two
they were 2
spots
through
in the
5.
1-3-5.
Jake are just all of a sudden just completely destroying the pack.
Fatal shrooming, trying to shroom back up against Bad Cake here, getting bumped out a little bit. Triple red, most likely going to end up connecting. Knight does end up
Okay.
getting back though. There is a lot of chaos going on in that mid pack there. Byron barely not starring him. Emil in another bill, and there's the shock being called. Yes, onto, I believe, an Asian member. Front shock, but it is predicted by Emil there getting, well, he was forcing it regardless, but still good prediction. It's your stays in second place, but Emil is gone in first for now.
In a pretty decent break. He's still going to keep second, assuming no shock red, even after this blue. Oh, there's a shock red, or there's a blue red, pardon.
Yeah, after a little bit of a combo there, Jake does take that mantle in second place at the very least. It's still 2-3 for Asia, regardless of it all. And there's still time for a second shock to be pulled for France. Gonna have to see if they manage to pull that off. Not exactly sure if Lutz is actually in 10th place, so there's a chance that another shock is pulled. We do see Sparkster in 9th for now.
In ninth, yeah, we'll see what happens. He does pull forward. I mean, maybe, possibility. I don't know though. No, he's off.
Late mega by a Bad Cake being used once they realize that shock is not in the cards for them. Emil actually does end up getting sniped out.
And Josh is out too.
Do we see Emil in 7th place? Oh no, this seems to be a very big race for France even after all everything that ended up happening. Fatal stays in 8th place quite a bit, but we did see a lot of France in the mid pack there. They're really in I believe in at least 2 of the top 3 spots and in 6th place if I'm not mistaken.
France starting to pull away. I think the biggest lead of the entire series from France's end was 26 in match 1. And we might just see them pull ahead, maybe not to 26, but close.
No, top 268 once again. Another somewhat small winning rate. Definitely enough to break into the double digits at the very least for sure, but not enough to break into 20, not even 15 indeed, as it's going to be a 13-point lead for France at the end of his double GM race. It's just unfortunate that Emil ended up blued immediately after dodging in that bill, but cruel Mario Kart here. Not that many blues have hit Emil throughout this series, so definitely a sight to behold as we are chaining potentially into BC3, which, as you mentioned, has not favored Asia during that match too. But granted, it was off the back of Emil unfortunately failing twice in a row that Ultra, so if he is more consistent this time, the cards could definitely be in Asia's favor this time, as the BC3 is going to be our pick going into race 4.
BC3, yeah, definitely the wild card of the entire Mario Kart Wii track selection. And we're going to see Batcake starting in 3rd. And he's going to be one of the people to watch in terms of cut takes.
Indeed, immediate red being thrown at Istior. Oh my goodness, so much comboing. Knight Mega and past the CC. That's massive there. Unfortunately for Bad Cake, Knight just so much work right into Bad Cake. Top 2-4 on the side of France, but Emil triple shrooms could absolutely do some work.
One of France lining up their Ultra and makes it. Byron taking cut as well. Istior, yeah, it was one that took the Ultra, but Byron missed cut.
Yeah, 2-3 for Asia now, with Istior being the only member of France up there. Bad Cake taking the cut. Knight.
Oh, beautiful.
Right
on the other POV. Yeah, you didn't see it, but Istior bounced the green off and hit Emil square in the face.
Pau not going to do that much on the top spots for now. But yeah, Emil just getting hit out by Istior. Istior doing so much work to try and hold on to that first place here, trying to build enough of a lead to potentially take the Ultra safely. Will we see a bomb being thrown? No hero bomb this time, as Triple Green should be enough to at the very least protect him.
No, Josh lost the track from the low trick.
Josh ended up failing. Not exactly sure if it was Istior's influence or simply a mechanical error there, but Istior remains in first. Fatal going for the Ultra and having, I was about to say a bit more success.
Oh, Fatal gets it off at least! bringing down Emil with him.
Very nice bomb in the, at the very least, a small silver lining from that failed cut there. Emil triple green once again going to try and hit out Byron, but it doesn't seem to be in the cards. 1-3-4 for the time being, as Knight did end up getting past. Triple shrooms for Emil. He has all the items he needs to try and make a big impact into lap 3 here.
Istior spinning out. There's probably a blue there. But Josh is going to get hit out. Asia's going to be even further down now, considering that bomb snipe on Emil and that red onto Josh. And France are really starting to pull away. There's a shock, though.
Definitely an Asian shock there, getting all up front after the set, and there's the immediate blue towards Istior. Triple reds, unfortunately not what you want to take the cut, but Batcake absolutely has what you want.
We might see some cut takers and ultra takers. Batcake going to slip into first. We might see someone going for ultra as well. Are we going to see it? Doesn't look like any ultra takers.
Josh did end up taking the cut as well. I believe that it's top 2 Asia. It is indeed top 2 Asia for the time being. France hot on their trail, though. 2, 3, 4, 5. There needs to be a huge play on the side of France if they want to change another winning race.
Can shake this up. It's a TC, though.
Doesn't seem to be the case. It will be sandwich spots once again, but this time in favor of Asia. Another small winning race, but this time for Asia. And unfortunately, BT3, not the swing that they wanted to have most likely.
That's a very big shock, though. I mean, going for the TS, they don't get any TSs, but obviously shocking before boxes is so huge in BC3. It is so massive, and we saw that with a blue pull and a double triple shroom pull, rather.
It is surprising to see it when Emil pulled triple shrooms, that I guess there's simply for the better of the team you need to make that call, and it seemed to have worked out in the end, as Batcake and Josh do end up securing that top 2 position. Small winning rate for Asia, which does end up securing at the very least back the single-digit point.
Indeed,
point difference.
Indeed, yeah. And the chat's already saying it. Huge cut unblocked, but that's why I said pay attention, because I in my head I knew that cut was going to be unblocked, but nonetheless, it is a play that you have to make, and very good work all around from Asia to catch up.
Yeah, Emil definitely sacrificing himself for the good of the team with that unblock, but absolutely worth the point investment overall. And Batcake, once again, just consistently making that cut and just managing to break into first easily. Josh hot on his trail, and Asia for the first time in this match, in the leading seat going into the next race.
Indeed.
Sorry, I needed to take a little bit of a water break. Important when you're commentating such intense matches. DDR and KC going to be the picks there. Koopa Cape once again by France. France picking it all 3 times that it was picked, actually, surprisingly. No, not once was it by Asia.
Very much, going back to the well here with KC. They've had some success. Well, actually, it was Asia top 2 going into the pipe on both instances, but they're still going to go to the well here, as they did get a good race in that match. Backkick is off, the rare mechanical error. I know he used to go through controller issues, but I think he already fixed it. I think that's just a mechanical error. I'm not sure.
I would be very shocked if it was a controller issue. If it was a controller issue, it would have been much harsher of a turn. Very nice mega by Emil there, getting fatal down with that last red remaining in play. Very clean overall. Just waiting on the set, being as much of an annoyance as he can be. We do see France at the very least in 3-5, but Asia seems to be in good spots for the time being, even with Batcake in 8th position.
We'll pay attention to the star drops here. We can't really see it from here, but let's take a look at minimap to see if there's any cut takers coming up there. It looks like no star drops yet, but I think no star drops will definitely favor France a little bit more, considering that they did occupy some of those top spots after Backcake's fail.
Istra is off, Josh backed him off, and now France only having Byron in that top 3 position, and now Asia 1-3-4, very much in strong positions. Byron does get back into first place, though it seems that Josh either hit an item or Byron simply shroomed ahead, with Jaker doing the same very soon. Fatal, triple red behind them, very much in a tough position. Should be a guaranteed hit going into the last one.
Get here.
Have to see the red trying to avoid it on the wall, but no, it is very much a surefire hit for Emil. 2, 3, 4, 5 as we go into the last section of the last lap of the track, rather. Star drop at least allows Byron to cut.
So we saw Emil playing it safe with the red last time. Oh! That's a French
absolutely a front shock.
Yeah, good attempt from Mill to avoid that TS
Oh,
attempt.
Knight the fib on landing, so unfortunate here, and Red does not end up getting Emil off, thankfully, but still Asia now on the back foot after the shock. It looks like Byron most likely still in first place. We see Asia in bottom 2 with Batcake and Emil. Fatal in 7th place, gonna try and flag a little bit here. Batcake should end up getting hit with triple shrooms. There's not much he can do here. Oh, never mind.
That is a gorgeous break.
Breaks it on the waterfall instance. Great play here, but Knight still has shrooms. Sorry, Fatal still has shrooms remaining.
Asia, maybe? No, it's going to be for France. They share it, though. Does France. They're going to secure a very good race here with a 1-3-4.
That POW did end up getting J-Kerr into the wall, but I don't think that was enough to get any potential more points. 1, 3, 4, 5, or 6. That is a massive race for France. Finally breaking the streak of small wins and finally getting a good race on the track that they seemingly have a lot of fondness for.
Yeah, that was a fun red break to see. Obviously, it didn't matter in the grand scheme of things because, you know, that top 4, top 5 was already solidified, but it was good to see. But nonetheless, good race from France. And another important shock, might I add. It's
1,
been
3, 4, 5. Oh my goodness, that's massive for France. Did not really. Yeah, it was either 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 6. But yeah, as you mentioned, very clean red break there from Batcake. Even though Fatal had the shrooms to make up that comeback, still very important to make those sorts of micro plays in a match of this level.
Indeed, yeah.
Gonna have to see though, and now yeah, 26 points ahead, 27 points ahead, sorry, cannot count. 27 points ahead, close to the biggest lead that France has gotten throughout this entire series, but they've never gotten one this early before, aside from Map 1 obviously getting a 25-point lead in 2 races, but this one had yet to stabilize, but this one is off of the momentum of a couple of small wins that they really are known for at this point, so there is a chance that France could start breaking away, especially if that Maple Freeway pick is chosen.
Maple Treeway has been a pretty fun track to watch in this cast so far. Gardens been a bit tricky though. There was like Asia running top 2 pretty easily, and I think match 1, pulling the shrooms. But anything can happen in Gardens, and we'll see what happens here.
Indeed, yeah, the small, good running prowess during match 1 from France, but as we saw, everything can turn south extremely quickly, especially when shock is pulled. Gonna have to pay really close attention to the bagging battle during this track specifically. Emil barreling for a box and 4 and pulling the triple shroom is exactly the item that you want. And Emil should just stay in first for a while.
Bagging battle, first match, Sparkster committed. Second match, LXDDZ committed first. Now in this one, I think it was Sparkster committing first. Let's see who overtakes.
Indeed. Triple shrooms on both of our POVs. Unfortunately, not much action is going to be going on here. Emil most likely simply going to hold these, take the cut at the very 2-3, 2-4-3, and just hold the last one for blue protection. Gonna have to see if the rest of his team can catch up, though, as France is in 3-4-5 for now. We do see that Josh is really second.
Sparks are going around, either Shock or Bill.
Gonna have to see potentially. Most likely Shock, I assume he would have respawned by then, if that was the case. Shrooms are taken by pretty much everyone there. J-Kerr goldening into first place, goldening ahead of the France members, as Emil stays in first with that shroom. Lud's in 10th place for now. Gonna have to see. Sparkster does end up losing an item. I think it was simply Bill, and Lud is in really good position to pull.
I'm not sure if he got the chomp or not, but yeah, I think he did lose.
Might have been a runner, actually. Might have been a runner, potentially. One of the baggers is going forward, and it is Lutz going forward. That should be a front stock practically guaranteed, especially if Sparkster falls off. So France should be in very good positions here, but Emil does end up taking the cut beforehand. Should be a guaranteed first on his end. We do see Backkick and start on the other POV indeed. Let's quickly switch over POVs towards Fatal for the time being, or Backkick in the mid pack. A lot of Asia in those top slots, top 2, 4, 5 Asians in such strong positions. You need an extremely good shock to make up for it.
Emil, power on Emil though. Emil's gonna fall behind.
Does end up getting blue in another POV. Josh does end up taking the mental, though should be a shock into the possibly. Fatal with that last item ending up being a
top 3.
You see Byron dodging though. Bad Cake should remain into first place, but Byron should break up that top 3, second place at the very least. But that is all that they will get. That should be a 1-3-4. Could potentially be a 1-3-4-5 as well once again for Asia, just mirroring France's race on KC.
Yeah, I pardon me, I meant to say Jaker got hit out because we did see Emil obviously in second there. Still able to survive the blue and the POW combo. But yeah, again, the very beginning of the race really does matter for Gardens. We did see that triple shroom pull from Emil and was able to break away and keep the top spots pretty much the entire race despite the blue. And the response Asia needed, even though it was a top 3 initially, good dodge there from Byron, but a 1-3-5 is a good race.
Yeah, Isior still breaking into that top spot. Actually, much less not as much of a good race as I thought this would be. 1-3-5-8 for Asia. Still a good race, but only a win by 6 points, I believe, or 4 points. Definitely much less than you would have hoped for, while being so dominant for the entire race, and with Emil being pretty much gone in first until the very last section of the track.
This is coming down to the wire.
22 points, still half the war remaining. But yeah, that last dodge by Byron was just completely shattered the rest of the top spots that they were in. Byron got second and most likely hit someone out, allowing Isior to slip into the 4th place box, or 4th place position rather. And yeah, just simply Ludz getting that shock late. Once again, Gardens having some of the highest impact shocks. Even when you're gone in top 2-4, you can absolutely just get a complete swing off of a late lap 3 shock.
1-3-5. This is the player that you want to start off in first. And Backkick, as you saw there, getting a swerve and adjusting his funky early on to prevent a draft, but Byron does get a draft anyway onto one of Asia.
Good back attempts by Byron, but unfortunately completely phases through, and I do believe it actually might have hit Eastyor in the end. So unfortunately Byron, a little bit of team killing as Josh makes his way up into 3rd place at the very least. Byron should remain in 1st place. As we saw in match 2, he was a very nice back, and actually Eastyor making his way up into 2nd, but into 3rd place now with Josh in 2nd. Byron, one of the 2 players alongside Isior that was in that huge lead during the last race of match 2. Definitely a player that you want to see up there. Emil chaining start into triple shrooms, and there's the blue for Byron there. Should not hold on to that 1st place for that much longer. Josh should be able to take up the mantle, except if Isior can make a huge play here. Josh not backing on rail. Emil not able to do so either. Bomb up, not connecting to Josh. Will we see a bump? Isior remains on the track, thankfully. And now Asia in top 2 for the rest of this RBC race. Bad Cake unfortunately ends up getting head out on another POV.
This top 2 might get broken up a little bit by LXDDZ. From what I saw, I was paying very close attention to the baggers early on. And it looked like Sparkster was trying to go for nonstop, and he missed it, which allowed LXDDZ to get a bigger break.
One of the baggers is going forward at this point. It might be Ludz. We'll have to see who is ahead of the spiral coming into this. Not having any view of the battle glitch, unfortunately. Batcake does sneak his way into 3rd place, though. Back red tight, not connecting onto anyone. Byron trying to make his way into the top 3, not connecting so far. Jaker in 5th. The entire Asian roster is in that top 5. Could be a huge race for them. Once again, for France, Ludz needs to come up huge with that shock, but unfortunately we did not end up seeing if Ludz was the one with shock or if Sparkster ending up pulling it in 9. Gonna have to see it right here.
Unfortunate that he's just out of draft range. Good double backing here there, but France adjusting very well from that double back instance. Backick backing wide. No, still nothing doing. France is really holding on to a thread here, but doing a good job staying up.
Ludz is the one on the track here. Gonna have to see if he maybe tries to. He may be trying to drop a star for 4th place here. Does seem to be the case. Could be a late Asian shock, and in that case, it might be finally the position that Asia were looking for in this match to try and break back into this lead. Isior should remain in 4th place. I believe the rail is still blocked. Isior falls off.
He's off.
And that's top 4 for Asia.
Just like that, I said by Istior because he had the TC, but he passes someone else. That time truly was good by Istior with that target power from Asia.
Absolutely. Great target power in the end from Asia to secure that top 4. And finally, they're back into this lead. Even after Byron got into the lead early, that blew into just Josh and Emil staying to that top 2 position, keeping up there on tracks such as RBC. Very, I don't want to say very easy thing to do, but very secure positions to be in compared to other tracks. And yeah, top 4 for Asia. And finally, they're back into the lead. 9 points ahead as we are approaching GP3.
Wow. I mean, you could not have ended a GP better than that. I mean, a 9-point lead now for Asia. We saw this before, though. In match 2, they were able to hold on to their lead. They didn't have in match 1. We saw Asia and France trading, but Asia were able to hold on second time around. And we'll see. Top 4, expect maybe a BCWE at this stage. A TF is good too. I mean, that's quintessential top 4 track. I was thinking maybe they'd go BCWE as well because they're pretty much a staple track pick there. But TF is very much the safe play here.
Absolutely, pretty typical top 4 track. We did see them try to pick it up last time they got top 4 during match 2, I believe, and it is actually going to end up being the pick here. Very scary pick for that top 4, and exactly what Asia need to potentially finally get another winning race once in the lead.
I don't want to. Okay, I've cursed Asia so many times here, but top 4 in TF is so big. Expect 4th to draft first. Expect 2nd to get a middle box here, and that's what Emil does. Let's see how they can solidify this top 3, if anything. Looks like Emil's not backing anything. Good sign that they're still in good spots.
It's Fatal in
top 3,
or simply that Fatal is in 4th with triple reds and potentially already a menace to that top 3. And there it is, Knight zooming up. Fatal hitting that red shell. Josh does manage to hit out Knight though. Thankfully, Josh aware that Emil could not hold for the time being.
Just one of France. I think maybe 2 actually. Oh, trick snipe attempt.
Maybe 2, unsure. Very nice attempt that actually does end up connecting. Very clean play there from Josh, showing that he may be subbing to this match, but he is absolutely there for a reason. Emil CC in 4th place, gonna try and pass it off to Fatal for bottom 3 for France.
But they get past.
You have to see here Byron with the star, and Cake actually getting back bombed there by whichever front member was there. Didn't quite see. It was ECR actually, who is already in 3rd place. Josh does end up getting blue shell, it looks like, and France may have to talk in this race.
Yeah, favorable blue there from Asia. Still going to be a top 2, and Fatal is way out of snipe range. There's nothing he could do here. Well, now he's in snipe range with Backkick. If he plays his cards right, you can definitely get him on landing. But that's really all they can do is damage control at this point.
Very much so. You're aiming for 3, 4, 5 here. Bomb comes up and doesn't connect onto Batkick. It looks like triple reds most likely will, though, if Batkick, doesn't end up breaking it on the inside of the corner. Jaker still in 2nd, though, and Josh in 1st.
Top 2 here, pretty much barring shock.
Gonna have to see. We do see that Emil is actually holding up to a golden gear. Will end up using it in the ending. That is top 3. Ooh, actually, no. Ends up getting shredded on the line. Little caster's curse from my end. Ends up falling all the way down from 3rd to 6th. And while it is a decent race for Asia, definitely not the kind of race that you would want in that top 4 position starting on TF.
Wow. I really, really thought that was going to be a top 3. It didn't end up so.
Was very close to being 1, I believe. Genuinely, that red was like half a second away from potentially connecting there, and thankfully it allows Byron, Fatal, and Istior to all 3 pass Emil and make this race a whole lot less scary than it would have been. But it's still a winning race for Asia, and it's still widening the gap just a little bit as we now cross the 15-point threshold. I want to say 16-point threshold indeed, as Asia now having their first solid lead of this match over France.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the race they needed. They like I mentioned earlier, right, that it's been very much a hard thing to see to have 2 back-to-back races, but Asia have had, I think, 3 now at this point, and they're finally starting to build some momentum after, after that first war being kind of swingy, and not swingy, but like a lot of little races and trading winning races back and forth. But they're finally in a good spot. Finally found some footing. Can they wrap it up with 2 to go?
We're gonna have to see here. No,
More
Three
than
to go?
that.
Yeah, 3
3
to
to
go.
go. 3 to
3 to
go.
go. 3 to go at the very least. But yeah, DK Summit, Diaz Delfino Square. At this point, you need to try and finally get some momentum. Thankfully, DK Summit is going to be our pick here, and it is exactly the pick that you want for Asia to try and get some momentum for more than a couple of races this time. And if France, the issue is that if France can manage to beat you on such a technical track, definitely might put you into the mental blender going into the final races of this match 3. Emil getting an immediate draft, very nice, getting into the top half of the pack here. We do see Fatal making his way into first, actually, lagging in front of Josh. Obviously Josh ahead on his screen currently, but Fatal in a very good position to try and contest that first place.
Yeah, that green line to yellow line exchange was definitely scary, but Fatal approach. Ooh, that's a very good adjustment to the snipe from Josh.
Very nice,
Gets him
and
back.
backed him off.
Beautiful.
Beautiful backspam indeed from Fatal here, gets Josh off the track, and now France are the ones in a good position here. If we switch our POVs really quickly towards the mid-pack, we see that Emil is in 6th and Batcake in 7th place. A lot of France in the top spots, bottom 3 actually, for Asia going into the Cannon Lap 2.
Both struggling here are the baggers, but maybe one of them pulled shock and he's just faking missing it. You never know. We'll see. No, they're both respawning.
Yeah, the Bloods just took a bit more time to do it indeed. Unfortunately, Emil ended up eating a TC, forcing Batcake to pass him, and yeah, unfortunately, their troubles for the top spots are not helping.
Batcake was holding a POW with 4-5 of France taking the double. This could be a sign that they're holding on to blue, maybe, or something important.
Gonna have to see here, and there's the shock. That's absolutely a front shock there, just dodging a lot of the France mid spots. It looks like, yeah, they're dodging a lot of France mid spots in the mid pack, and that should be pretty much securing at the very least the top 3 from France. Very clean shock by Luds there, guaranteed pretty much top 3.
I was gonna say, can they drive it past the finish here? Yes, they can. Top 2 taking double, or top 2 taking single rather, and it's gonna be a France top 3 imminent from a very good beginning from Fatal, very much the driver of that race, and France getting top 3 to really shake things up.
Yeah, unfortunately, Byron getting the short end of the stick at the end there is probably getting last, all things considered. But even with that, top 3-8, still very much the kind of race that you would want in this position, and might be enough on its own to tie things up.
Oh my god. I can't stress enough how important Fatal was to that race. Completely swung it around.
I'm still surprised by that POW hold on lap 2. I feel like that could have absolutely been a turnaround. I feel like either Asia had a bit of a miscommunication about it, or simply just wanted to hold it till lap 3 since maybe they thought that Lutz didn't pull just yet. But unfortunately for them, that shock and cannon pretty much just sealed their fate here, and France are actually back into the lead off of that with only 2 races left. Once again, folks, this is coming down to the wire.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, that I was gonna say too that what is it? Backcake, yeah, you were mentioning Backcake holding that POW. None of you guys saw it because Backcake was not the POV that was shown. He was on the pocket POV the whole time, but he held the POW. He pulled the POW after cannon and held it, and could have T-POW'd 4-5 of France, but again, it could have been something that they were holding on to. Could have been a blue. Could have been something. I don't know why the POW was held, but that definitely could have shaken things around had they gone T-POW'd on double.
Absolutely, and Bowser's Castle is going to be the pick there for France. This time being France that picks it in the end, and the game plan is most likely going to be the same. Once again, revolving around that Ultra, around the Batcake, around Emil, around Fatal, being the 2 main Ultra takers that we've seen from these teams so far. Gonna have to see if Fatal can manage to break his streak of failed lap 1 ultras that has been happening during match 1 and 2.
Yeah, and Mills hit. Back cake is
And
hit. Already 2 people going down from Asia. Josh coming up.
Very nice backs from France immediately. Should be a top. Oh, actually top 2, not top 3 immediately. It looks like Josh did manage to make his way into that top 3 position. Istior most likely going to try and simply block the cut on the other side, I would assume. Ooh, it is not sure if it was unblocked by Jaker or simply not blocked by Istior, but it is a very nice ultra take on the side of Emil there, keeping a Shroom in 1.
Istior did go left, so did leave it unblocked.
No, that was Fatal. That went left. Istior didn't go right.
Left. Istior did go right, but no blockage nonetheless.
Seems to be the case. Second place for Fatal still, regardless, but he is the only one in that top 3. Being Emil should have free reign to either block the cut or take it in the lap 2 once again. It did end up biting him during match 1, though. We'll have to see if it impacts his mental going into it at all. He does hold the fib, could simply be blocking it indeed. Doesn't want to risk it, doesn't want to make the same mistake that he did during match 1, and it is going to be a fairly easy hold. Batcake holding that Mega though. Not exactly sure what the bagging battle looks like. Luds is in 10th, it looks like, if only by just a hair.
And yeah, Fatal and it just out of snipe range on Emil. Not gonna be able to get anything off.
Yeah, he barely just can't hit him on the ramp either. So yeah, it is going to simply be trying to back out Jaker in the end, which doesn't seem to be the case. Backed up someone late in the back, but not enough so far. No blues, clear skies for Emil so far, which is exactly what you want in this position. And once again, both baggers still neck and neck pretty much, with Lutz barely ahead, it looked like on Fatal's screen. Fatal going on the left side there, not knowing that glitch is an impossibility, just trying to catch up to Emil somehow, but I'm pretty sure Emil should have pretty secured first place unless something disastrous ends up happening. Batcake and Byron both in stars, but no shock ends up happening. Should be shockless going into the final section of this track. Top 2 for our POV. We'll have to see what the rest of the track gets. Finally, there's a shock, which gets Batcake actually off the ramp in the mid pack. There's the blue shell, extremely late. Emil gets second in the end. Oh no!
Oh my goodness! It's just like that. France have turned it around. Oh my god!
Oh, I just had to say it. Asia once again just clearly not favorable to our caster curses. It looks like with Fatal barely getting first place. That was right on the line pretty much for Emil, like just a second before, right after shock as well. Great call by France overall though to get that shock blue off right before the end.
That MKWii finish line is so notorious. The actual finishing spot is like at the very end of it.
It's what 3 what? I did not see that in the back. Oh my goodness, I did not see that in the back. That shock got all of France ahead. We did not have eyes on the mid pack, unfortunately, but 1, 3, 4, 5, massive race for France here. Even without that blue, that would have been a massive race for them. And now they are going down into the last leg of this war, down 20. This could be pretty much war ending on the side of Asia here.
Yeah, they need a response, and so badly. And where are they gonna go here? Where are they gonna go? I'm really interested to see what they pick. Asia.
2 races left. Maple and MG are going to be the picks. Interesting, we have yet to see an MG race during this BO3. Maybe a little bit of showing a bit of desperation there on the side of Asia. Maybe thinking that you need a really swingy race that you can potentially get on Mushroom Gorge to turn that race around. Because remember, France is the expert of these small races, small winning races, and if you get one on Maple Treeway, it could spell curtains for you in this World Cup run.
And what better way? I mean, there are better tracks to have a race 12 on. Cannon tracks can be pretty dominant, but I mean, for the sake of swinginess, it could be on the side of Asia too. It could very much be on the side of Asia getting a cannon shock and completely coming back and just getting a big race. We'll see though.
Emil trying to immediately rat out Fatal, but it doesn't seem to be panning out so far. A lot of items being flown around here, Megas and Stars in the mid pack, all end up connecting, and it looks like France is already in a huge spot starting things off.
a bump away from boost panel, though. It's usually in cases like that on MT boost panels, it is a low impact.
Should be fairly low impact regardless, but yeah, top 3 at the very least. On our other POV, Emil falling off. Should be a quick switch to POV here as Fatal most likely will end up staying in the front for a long while, but as you can see, a lot of Asia in that mid pack there. 4, 5, 7, 8 here. Star being used in the cut a bit early just to make sure that no cannon dodge is called, but yeah, not that it's really needed at this point. France is in such a commanding spot. Oh, it's your head out right as I say it, but still, France at the very least in top 2-4 going into this lap 2. Triple shrooms on the side of Batcave, gonna try and contest Byron at the very least a little bit. Emil pulling the bill necessary to get back into the race somewhat.
Yep. Byron is redded out, so 3-4 now from Asia.
You see Jaker up there in that 3rd position. One of the very frequent front runners. Very nice back bomb onto Istyor there. Not much you can do in such a tight position. Fatal and Knight still in that top 2 position. And that's all you need, frankly, with Fatal actually holding a 7-1.
Shock here. One of the backers is getting starred. That definitely favors France if there's a shockless race, rather.
Definitely looked like it would have absolutely been called here with Jake and Badcake in the cannon. No shock so far. Absolutely, as you mentioned, does favor France here. Knight does end up being passed by Jaker.
How did Knight get out a second? How did Knight get out a second? Oh my god, it's a 2-3 now from Asia.
Slowly chipping away at that top 3. Asia have just been consistently getting out France members. Not exactly sure how Knight even ended up in this situation. Fatal, thankfully, staying in 1st place for France and
could have been a fail on that, but I'm not sure.
Could have been a potential driving fail. Yeah, unfortunately, we did not have eyes on them. Fatal gets 1st place, and let's see Emil in the mid spot.
Oh my god. Jaker's out. It's a 2-3-4. Or 3-4-5, sorry. From France to back up that 1st. We didn't really have eyes on the pack, and all of a sudden you just see Jaker is just goodbye Jaker. And now France looks like they have, I think, commanded this war at this point.
We'll have to see. We did unfortunately lack eyes in the mid pack towards the end there, and unfortunately not exactly sure what the results were, but if you did indeed mention that Jaker was out of the pack, 1-3-4-6, and ladies and gentlemen, that is practically GG's at this point. You need to get an all-run race from Asia to get more than top 4 in order to make it to the semifinals. But let's be honest here, very rare occurrence to happen. France,
I mean, it's rare. They are down by 33 points, which is more than a top 4-9, so they have to all run. Top 4-9 is a 31, so yeah. GV2 women.
Yeah, GV2, you have to. Gonna have to see if GV2 is picked, there is still a chance for Asia to get across that finish line here. If it's Parkway, it seems very unlikely for it to happen. Gonna have to see what ends up being the last pick. Could either be a very long final race to cast or a very short final race to cast. And it is going to be the Ghost Valley 2 pick. It could turn around in a single minute here. We're gonna have to see.
Oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen, race 12 of this match 3 series. Match 3, GV2. It could not end better. Here we go.
All run, Asia needs to at the very least get top 4-6. Nothing else will make them win. They need at the very least to get into that top 4 position, but Knight already holding firmly on that 1st place here, even after a couple of hits. Badcake needs to try and get that snipe off. Barely doesn't manage to make it. Oh, very nice.
Very nice. It's going to be right on Knight's tail, though. Be careful. There might be a 50-50 exchange here. Badcake's going to go for the outline. He does get the outline. Can he get the drag here? He's very good schlagger. He could maybe schlag here or go for a back. We'll see.
Probably simply going to go for the back here. You need to try and hold that off shot as long as possible. Knight does end up avoiding it, though. It could be scary.
Ladies and gentlemen, Knight has not... We haven't seen Knight much here, but he could really be the driver of the France win. Here comes the shock. There goes Asia, and Knight's going to be hit out. Knight's hit out.
Is it enough?
I think might be hit out too.
It's your stays in 3rd. Nah, it's your stays in 3rd, and Fatal builds up.
Over.
That is GG's. I believe that is GG's.
Oh my god.
Could be
That was a jump
close
scare.
though.
That was a jump
Yeah, no,
scare and a half.
Israel gets third. That is GG's, ladies and gentlemen. France, unexpected third seed of their group, beating out one of the top 4 seeds of the tournament in Asia in quarterfinals after a bloodbath of a series in that best of 3. Absolutely massive from France. And very, very much an upset if we're talking seedings at
Yeah,
the start of the
I
tournament.
gotta
That is an
say, hold on. I thought, yeah, with those triple reds. Hold on, I'm getting what the fuck.
upset. All good if you need to quickly
Pardon me.
think.
Pardon my French. But yeah, Emil should have stopped, right? He dodged. He was secured a top 2 spot. Why is he not schlagging there? Actually, that's a very good point. Chat. Chat is absolutely going hog wild on Emil, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I'm maybe just not realizing that what he needs to do, expecting a second dodger to come up. Either way, the result remains the same. That is a France win, and Patcake once again MVPing for Team Asia, trying his hardest to put that team on his back, but it doesn't end up working out in the end. Congratulations to Team France, who is the first team to secure that semi-finals place, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, their best Mario Kart Wii World Cup performance ever already secured.
Oh my god! And yeah, I mean, Allez le Bleu for sure. France fans everywhere holding their breath. Such an absolute just nail biter of a series, but they've been here before, and once again they come out on top. And I gotta say, for that match 3, take nothing away from France, but for that match 3, I think Casper put it best. Pow hold on DKS, not T-powing the 4-5 of France before they cannon dodged. Not going for the shroomless on TF ending, or the ramp rather, and then no schlag on GV2. Those are the mistakes that really you got to look back on, and you got to think what could have been.
Very much so. As we mentioned, we mentioned it during, especially between match 1 and 2, that Asia were more error prone in a lot of cases. We're just not on the same page a lot of the time, contrary to France that had that synergy boost during GSC that did end up mattering a lot of the time, and simply just missing out on the optimal play numerous times during this match and ending up with France simply taking advantage of it and eking out that win. Once again, lower than 25-point win even after all of that, continuing their trend of these extremely close, heart-pounding wins. And as you put it best, allez les bleus, bonne chance pour la demi-finale.
There you go. I didn't understand what you said after Allez le Bleu, but go.
Good luck for semis, but yeah, either way,
Yeah.
that's most likely going to be all for us, folks. I don't believe we do. Do we do interviews for
Do.
final?
Can we
No,
get something on here?
I don't believe that we do before finals either way. But regardless, if we don't, it is a shame. Really, I would have loved to see my countrymen be most likely decided after such an intense win.
Yeah, interview is fairly understandable there. Local linguistics, but nonetheless,
Pride.
we're spoiled anyway. We're spoiled to have watched this,
No,
regardless of the interview. I hope that you guys enjoy you guys enjoyed this duo. Easy. Okay. We're about to get LXBZ, the main man himself, Tony.
gonna be really excited to see what his thoughts were on this whole series. Really, we are getting loads on the casting couch for at the very least a little bit there to talk about this matchup, which was the most hotly debated matchup alongside Canada US South of this of these quarterfinals. So gonna be interesting to see what his insight was into the whole series. Definitely was a very essential part of France's win, especially during match 3. I gotta say, many shocks for France that ended up completely turning races around or simply securing extremely strong races. DK Summit being the biggest example of that I can think of at the top of my head, securing that top 3 almost immediately.
Indeed. That was
Catch your breath, big guy.
little post BO3 cast high. I mean, not only was it a BO3, that's my first BO3 in a long time, but God, was that a good one.
Gonna have to see. Oh, MKFR might steal our LUDs for a bit. Actually, I have access to the server. Let's see. Yeah, Fatal is in the MKFR casting booth, so that's why we'll only get LUDs. We need to allow the French cast to get their French players. Pretty expected here.
Yeah, fairly so. And I'm sure MKFR were absolutely going
And
crazy.
there it
there
is, the man of the hour. Comment ça va, Tony?
Hi everyone. Salut tout le monde.
Yeah, so obviously very close wins, very close match overall in that match 3. Just tell me how you're feeling right now getting into semifinals, which correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is already securing the best placements that France has ever had in a Mario Kart Wii World Cup, no?
Yeah, that's true. I feel and we feel very happy, to be honest, since I don't think France has gone that far in the competition over the last year. So we're pretty happy to be in the semifinals. That was a pretty intense match. So I think everyone's very happy to end it all on a win. And yeah, we're very happy.
Yeah, we mentioned it a lot during the previous match that all of your wins and all of Asia's wins were very just overall close. All of your matches were pretty much won by like less than 25 points or something along those lines. Coming into this match, seeing as you experienced your first loss against Canada right before that, was there maybe a little bit of stress coming in with Asia? Was the team like pretty much just forget about Canada? We can win against Asia, just focus on this match?
Nah, honestly, yeah, win against Canada was pretty bad, but since we beat a lot of good teams during the group stage, such as the Scandinavia and England, we were pretty confident. Like, a good thing with this competition is I think everyone can beat everyone. Difference is it has been said a lot by the casters, but we play a lot together, so we have a lot of chemistry, and I knew before the competition starts that it will help during the matches, and that's it. So yeah, we lost against Canada. They're a very good team, very good team, but we were confident, and we were right. We were right. So yeah.
Yeah, we mentioned it a lot during the cast that you have that whole season of GSC behind you as Team France. Just correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that it was also this core 4 that played mostly during this GSC season, wasn't it? So the chemistry is even stronger due to that.
Yeah, we have some switch. Like I run a bit sometimes, and sometimes Fatal wasn't here. I think he played on another team, but overall that was the same squad every time. Yeah, so yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. So now, coming into the semifinals versus either England or Australia, so either a team that you have beaten before or what was considered once the dark horse of the competition before you suddenly went on a winning streak of 4. How do you feel about England? How do you feel about your chances against either team, whether it's versus the Barry and Lockheed duo or versus an England team that might come back with a vengeance, so to speak?
Both teams are very strong, so we'll take whoever goes against us. But I'll be honest. I want to be honest too. We beat England during the group stage on the BO1. BO3 is very different. You have to win twice. And such as good team like England, Australia can win, but if it's England or Australia, you have to win twice. It will be even harder, but I think we can do it. We can do it. We are not afraid of any team, so it's doable. It's doable. We'll see.
Would be very exciting to see the France into a potential top 2 position. But yeah, overall, just congratulations to you guys for such an intense and very interesting match to watch, and congratulations for you on match 3. Definitely seemed like you really locked in on that match 3. A lot of really impactful shots. I'm thinking, obviously, DK Summit being the biggest one, simply securing that top 3 position off that. Just very good performance from you in that regard, obviously, being a pretty respected bagger for a while now. Not surprising to see that from you, but yeah, overall, just congratulations. And yeah, any last words towards our audience? Anything that any last words that you may want to mention before we end up turning off the cast?
No, not really. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone who cheered for us. And GG's to Asia. That was such a good match. I think it was also pretty fun and pretty good to watch too. So thank you to everyone, and thank you to Jaggy and you for the cast. It's always good to have people to put some views on the Mario Kart Wii scene. So thank you to everyone. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also thanks to Yash, obviously, for hosting as well.
Yeah.
We
My bad. Yeah,
cannot
everyone.
do it without our heroes from the shadows, without their stream host. Any questions that you wanted to ask Jaggy before we potentially just go off the air?
Yeah, we do have one. It's just one particular race because obviously this race mattered so much. It was race 12 of the first match. That was the one where Emil failed the ultra, but there was a shock coming in from France. What do you remember how that race went? And do you remember like the circumstances of that race and how you're able to pull shock?
Yeah, BC
I
match one.
Yeah. I don't remember if I got shocked there, but all I remember is that I saw on the cast that Emil failed glitch in first, if I remember correctly, and I know that Byron and Fatal did Shroomless glitch in like 3 or 4 to clutch the race. So yeah, that was such a clutch race from us.
Yeah, they
Very.
managed to get into 1-3 off of that. Yeah, very, very strong individual performance from them. But yeah, pretty expected, honestly. Byron just fourth place in divs in the group stage, coming in definitely really hot into this match, and it definitely showed in this race especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that being said, thank you, Luds, for joining us for this little interview. Always appreciated to have you on the air. Congratulations to Team France as a whole for making it to semifinals, and thank you to everyone that has watched this match. It's been a pleasure to cast, as Jaggy has said many times. Been a pleasure to cast with you, Jaggy. And once again, thank you guys. Thank you, Yash, for hosting once again. And we're hoping to see you for the remainder of these quarterfinals that will be played during these weekends. And stay tuned for the semis and the finals that will be played during the next 2 weeks.
Stay tuned. Yeah, we got a couple matches coming up this weekend and tomorrow. Well, yeah, I actually don't know the. Do you happen to know the matches tomorrow and Sunday?
Oh, you're throwing me for a bit of a loop. But if I do recall, Saturday 2 p.m. is going to be US North versus Scandinavia, at least. So that's going to be the closest match to pay attention to. So Saturday at 2 p.m. The dominant US North versus Scandinavia, who has still a lot to prove in this World Cup, despite having such legendary names all amongst its roster. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that one. And as always, appreciate casting this alongside you. Appreciate seeing you guys here, and we'll love to see you back for the remainder of this World Cup.
Have a great one.